All right. What's good, man? What's good, everybody, man? Welcome back, man. You already know. Another edition. We going heart of the city, man. Action-packed show tonight. We're gonna be doing a little bit different things here. Uh got some information to share, of course, involving the Nets, Giants, Jets, Knicks, Yankees, Mets, etc. Man, you know what I'm saying? But before I get into my spill, gotta say what's up to my two brothers, man. Coach Ed and NYG Jeffy T 85. How y'all doing tonight?
I'm doing good, fellas. I'm doing good. Just taking it
Let's
day by
do it.
day. So, how about you, Jeff? How you doing?
Well, I'm doing very good tonight. How are you guys doing tonight? Yeah, let's go!
Aight. What up,
Thank you.
everybody? Let's get
Thank you.
hyped up, man.
Thank you
Get
very
hyped up,
much.
man. Good shit, man. Good shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the chat, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's out there, man. Appreciate y'all coming in, rocking with me
hmm
and the fellas tonight, man. So let's get into it, man. Like I said, a lot of news going around. The Nets extend Jacques Vaughn through the 2026-2027. We're gonna talk about that. Good job, good job. We're gonna talk about the Jets. All right. We're gonna talk about the Jets with Derek Carr. Hopefully, well, not hopefully, but we'll see what's going on with this situation, man. We're gonna get into the Yankees and the Mets, man. Spring training right around the corner, man. They taking batting practice, man, and there are questions to be answered. And of course, the everlasting Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley debate. Um, and it is having social media on fire right now.
Mm.
So I'm sure it's gonna be a lot of people in here that want to chime in on that. So let's get into it, man. Let's get right into it, man. We got a good show tonight, man. So y'all rock out with us, man, for a little bit, man. Pull up a chair, man. You know, get you a drink, smoke, whatever it is you do. All right. So reports coming out that Mr. Daniel Jones and his camp. Now, this is just a report. It's more of a rumor, in my opinion, but um, reports is he's asking for 45 mil per year. That's AAV. So I I, I caution people to kind of pump the brakes on that a little bit because when you negotiating, you're gonna start high. You're gonna start at the top, at the very top that you think you could get. You know what I'm saying? Now, a lot of us don't think, what's good, Sonny, man? I see you, man. Appreciate you stopping by. He says, my honest opinion, DJ should get 30 mil. What's good, Levance? Appreciate you, man. Much love and respect, man. Thank
Fine,
you,
man.
man, for
Hey,
pulling up,
Levance,
man.
what's on the
Levance,
menu
man.
tonight, Levance?
Oh, yeah. Know it's something special. You already know, man. So let's talk about this, man. Daniel Jones asking for 45 million and Saquon Barkley is expected to hit free agency. That is big news, y'all. That's huge. So let's start with Jones real quick. Let's get that out the way. So the 45 million reports are by Jordan Renan that Daniel Jones is expected to be back in some way, shape, or form. It's either going to be an extension or it's going to be on the franchise tag. So what that does is that kind of muddies the water a little bit when you're talking about signing Saquon Barkley because obviously if they have to tag Jones, they're not going to be able to sign Saquon. Now, a lot of people are saying Jones does not deserve. Some people saying he don't deserve 10 million, man. Shout out to Big Pat Sports Talk. Um, put that video out today, guys, saying
Well,
that Daniel Jones wasn't worth $10 million. Here's the bottom line: he's gonna get a deal, and in my opinion, His deal is going to be between 35 and 40 million dollars. Um, and that's where we at. You know, with Daniel Jones, man. 35. What's good, Wells? What's good, man? Appreciate you pulling up, man.
What's up, Wales?
But that's kind of where they're at. And a lot of people are up in arms, man. Hey, look, man, you need a quarterback. You need a quarterback, regardless or not. This is why the Giants are prioritizing Daniel Jones, and is why Saquon Barkley is more than likely going to hit the market. And I've said this: if he does, and shout out to you, Jeffy T. You said it. You've been saying it for quite a while now. There is definitely the possibility that Saquon Barkley could be playing for another a team next season. That is very, very realistic right now with this news coming out. Because I do not think the Giants want to go over the number that they have tagged Saquon Barkley. Well, not tagged, but you know what I mean. The number they priced him at, man, which reports are it's around 12.5 million. Saquon's looking for 14. And so the Giants do not want to tag him. That's another report. And they're basically looking to get a deal done. And if they can't get a deal done by that March 7th deadline, then guess what? Barkley's going to hit the free agent market. And I know that's a lot to take in. But before I get more in detail with it, man, let me hear you guys' thoughts on this flurry of news that just came out within the last week, man, since we did our show last. But go ahead, y'all get in there, man. Let me know what y'all think, man.
Go ahead, Jeff. Take it, bro.
No, you can go ahead first, Coach. I'm thinking about what to say.
Okay. Right now, I'm just going to keep the focus on Daniel Jones and his contract, not the other rigmarole. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
When you go through and you look at the top quarterbacks in the league, you know, and this is the average per year. Okay. Because when you do negotiations, you do look at top level all the way down. You do get your numbers somewhere in there. You try to pencil yourself in. Where do you think you fit in with all those numbers? Basic negotiations. Okay. I'm with you on the dollar amount, basically 35 to 40 million dollars, because those who are comparable to him are within that range.
Mm-hmm.
So it does make a lot of sense. Okay. Bottom line, though, to be brutally honest, I don't care if he signs for $1 million. I don't care if he signs for $100 million a year. If the Giants are going to pay him, the Giants are the ones paying for him, not me, not you, and all this other stuff that people going crazy. But let me get back to my point, okay? I'm going to start, because I have the list right here, okay? The top earners are Rodgers, Wilson, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the one around 43, okay? So I'm not even going to touch that. Then you got Matt Stafford at 40 million, Dak Prescott 40 million, and again, this is average per year. Mm-hmm. Kirk Cousins at 35, Jared Goff at 33.5, Carson Wentz at 32, Matt Ryan at 30, Ryan Tannehill 29.5. We all know Daniel Jones is within their range, and that's where basically I'm saying, okay, is he equal to Kirk Cousins? Yeah, Kirk Cousins 35 a year. Is he equal to Dak Prescott? You know, you want to debate that, let's leave that open for debate. But to me, Dak Prescott,
I think he's better. Yeah, I think he's better than Dak
Prescott. Hasn't done anything. Matt Stafford, have to respect, he won the Super Bowl. Boom. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Right there, if you look at those numbers and you look at where he fits in the landscape of those quarterbacks, that's where he stands. Now, look at what's coming behind him. Joe Burrow. What's his name down in Jacksonville? Trevor Lawrence down the road. Mm-hmm. You got Herbert out in
Los Angeles.
I already say San Diego. So, I mean, you look at these quarterbacks that are coming. Lamar Jackson, you know, they're also going to push the market. Mm-hmm. They're going to push it. So eventually, and a lot of those quarterbacks who are over him, they have outs. Like Patrick Mahomes does have an out of his $450 million, and I think it's in 25. They have an out of his contract where they can renegotiate that. That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing the average fan does not include. It's how you structure that contract, whether it's
Mm.
front loaded, Jeff, we've talked about this before, whether it's front loaded, back
Mhm.
loaded, and the guaranteed money. That's all you really
Mhm.
got to look at. The guaranteed money and the number of years. And that pretty much tells you where it lies. Do they have outs? What is when they have that out? What is the dead cap hit? Because all the guaranteed money has to be paid up or hit the books at that point in time. If he's leaving, you cut him, trade him, whatever the case may be.
Mhm.
Going crazy over the contract. You want to say he's not worth this or that? I respect that, people. Sonny, you just said you feel he's worth 30. I can respect that. I
Mm-hmm.
disagree. I think he's more, but that's our opinions because
Right.
ultimately our opinions, all of us, are subjective. The only ones
Mhm.
who matter are the Tishes, the Maras, Joe Shane, and Daniel Jones and his party. Not the
Mhm.
news media, Stephen A. Smith, Michael K. or whoever. Not me, not any of us in here right now. The bottom
Mhm.
line is that's the where it is. It's those people and everyone going crazy. You want to talk about it? Let's talk about it. But the craziness, and now I'm gonna deviate off now because NYG, you know what I'm talking about based on yesterday. You got
Yeah.
Giants fans going at each other, and I mean literally threatening each other over another
Mm-hmm.
man. What another man makes in his contract? Where the hell did this ever come? We in America, yo, go out and get your money, whoever you are.
Right. Watch your money, man. Why you
I
watching my
mean,
pockets?
exactly. And then you threatening, and you got other people putting people's jobs on social media. It's like, really,
Oh my God.
really, are y'all serious? It's. I said this to NYG before we came on. Giants Nation, I'm disgusted with us because one of the reasons why I detest that team down south, the Dallas Cowboys, is because of their delusional attitudes and the way they act and the way they go at other fan bases. But we're doing that internally to each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that is disgusting. It's disrespectful. We should be, hey, you want to disagree? Disagree. You want to debate? Debate. But do it in a respectful manner, man. Because it's like, yo, I don't want to be a part of this sometimes. It's like, yo, I don't even want to come on this stuff because it's like, yeah, people gonna take it to the extreme. Daniel
Mm-hmm.
Jones, get your money, bro. If they gonna pay you $100 million, get that damn money. Because you damn sure, we all damn sure know if any of our jobs or any of our financial situations came up and they gonna pay us above market
Mm-hmm.
value, who the hell is gonna turn that down? And you're not gonna
Right.
care what the next man said. Mind your damn business.
Facts.
It's my money. I'm
Facts.
done. Go ahead, Jeff. You got it, bro.
Well, I mean, just to go off that, if people, and I'm not even afraid to say it, if you are really going to go that far when it comes to a
Mhm.
quarterback that's not paying your bills, you are a sad mother, you know what. And
That's
I'm not
right.
afraid
Tell
to
them,
say that.
Jeff.
You are a sad human being that needs to get coddled by somebody, or you need to go get laid. I'm gonna say it right now. That's pretty sad if you're gonna go that far over a quarterback. Okay, you can not like him as a player, and you can
Mhm.
like him as a player, but I swear to
Mhm.
God, I've never seen two sides so screwed up when it comes to Daniel Jones. Whether you're a Daniel Jones lover, quote unquote, or a Daniel Jones hater, quote unquote,
Mhm.
it's at a point where it's sad now, and I really pity people that are going this far over a quarterback that is not paying your bills.
And
Just
mind
getting
you,
past that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Coach.
no, I forgot to add one thing. And the person they're going at is a female. You
That
got
see,
dude,
and
you
that's
got
what
dudes going at a
mm,
female saying she going around. I'm not putting her name out here. Please don't think I'm doing that. That's not what I'm doing. But I'm standing up for her because that's disrespectful, man. You know, when
So
she's coming out and
disrespectful.
doing things, you know, for Giants Nation and trying to bring a positive energy, and you got people coming at her like
And
that.
how many females we got in our community? You see what I'm
Exactly.
saying? This is why a lot of females don't like to deal with sports people. You know what I'm saying? It's because of the bravado and that you know what you call it, you know, dick
Macho
measuring
bravado.
bullshit. Yeah, you know what
We
I'm saying?
do.
That shit right there, man. That shit gotta stop, man, for real, man. And
Is it
I'm gonna
mostly
tell you,
Twitter? Is it mostly
it
Twitter?
Yeah, it's
it is for the most part. You know what I'm
well,
It's pretty
saying? But they
sad.
bleed over into YouTube and
yeah,
Facebook as well.
exactly. Yeah,
You
it
know what I'm
does,
saying?
and that's my point.
So
And
yeah,
that's what I
that's
said.
gotta stop.
That's
That's
why I
not gonna be
said what I
tolerated.
It's not
said.
gonna. I don't think it's gonna stop. It's not gonna stop. It's just gonna continue to go on. It's just the quarterback stuff. I hate to say it. It's all about the
Mhm.
quarterback. And at this point, for how disgusting is
Good,
getting
Chief,
right
man.
now, I kind of I can't believe I'm saying this. I kind of wish Daniel Jones would just leave the Giants and go somewhere else because
It's
I'm just
going to be
tired of
someone
this
else.
discussion.
Jeff, I'm going
Somebody
to say
else.
this.
Yeah.
Remember, I'll go back to Phil Simms. They did it with Phil Simms.
Yeah,
Remember,
I
they did it with
remember.
Eli. They
Eli
Yep,
did
I
it
Manning.
with
remember that too.
yeah.
Yep.
So you know, it doesn't matter. Even if he goes away, they're going to find somebody else to
I
attack or
know.
whatever the
I
case
know.
may be. Is just it's like you said. It's sad when we as a fan base we can't discuss and debate things like adults. It's how about them?
Thank you, Levance.
Exactly.
Because
Exactly.
people don't want to focus on what the Giants did. They want to focus on this quarterback. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? They don't want to focus on what the team did,
Hmm.
how we returned both of our coordinators and our head coach. We have the head coach of the year. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Mhm.
We had a team that went to the playoffs on the road and beat a 13-win Minnesota team. I don't care what you think about them. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? They was a 13-win team, not by accident. You
Hmm.
know, they went on the
Mhm.
road and did that. You know, this team has continuity finally for the first time in so
Hmm.
long, and y'all want to blow it up. You know why? Because you mad, because your ego, you
Mhm.
think is bigger than this team. That's the
Mhm.
problem. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Y'all got too big of an ego to where you have to be right. I've been right about so much, and I've been wrong about so much. You don't
Mhm.
hear
Yep.
me coming on this podcast, you know, puffing my chest out, saying I'm right about this and wrong about that. You know,
Mhm.
coach has corrected me. Jeff has corrected me. You don't see we come on here and we brothers. Every we don't argue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Why can't y'all do that?
People don't know how to have discussions anymore. All they know how to do is start adding threats if they don't get their way. That's it.
And
It's the truth.
the biggest thing ultimately than everything, this is what my dad told me. He said, learn how to listen. Shut up and listen.
Yep.
Truly sit
There you
down
go.
and listen. He said, if you listen, sometimes you'll hear what the person is really saying, and then
Mhm.
you can critically think and evaluate and come back with an intelligent counter to whatever they're bringing to you. Listen.
Mhm.
You know, I get it. We all want to get our points out. You know, oh, I want to get my point out before I lose my train of thought. If your train of thought if your train of thought is that bad, get a piece of paper, write it down. Write it down. As a journalist, that's what you do. You write down. You make
Or
notes.
be a content creator because y'all opinions is bigger than mine. Unpopular opinion.
Mhm,
You know what I'm
mhm.
saying? So if you want to talk that much and you have that much to say, create your own show
Hmm.
and start your
Mhm,
own podcast. That's all you got to
Hmm.
mhm.
do. Why y'all want to come on other people's show and destroy? I had somebody, I'm not again, not gonna name names. Somebody came in and literally destroyed a Twitter chat. They had to
Yeah,
shut it down because this
yeah.
dude was so disrespectful. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And
I
it's
see.
sad. You know what I'm saying? It's so sad to see this fan base like this, but I don't want to give these dudes too much more of my attention, to be honest with you.
Fair
Let's
enough.
talk about
Well,
this team.
I'll talk about the whole Daniel Jones situation. I
Mhm.
mean, nobody should be surprised that, and I actually do. I know it's a rumor right now, but I actually believe it's more factual than it is a rumor. Because
Right, Angelo.
Why would Daniel
Appreciate you
Jones
coming to the
not
show.
Why would he not want to get money on that range? I mean, he's looking at other quarterbacks that had numbers similar to what he did. He's a 25, soon to be 26-year-old ascending quarterback who had 4,000 total yards during this past season. He's able to rush for over 700 yards and throw for over 3,200. With a lot of people say, whether you disagree or not, he didn't have exactly the best weapons or playmakers out there on the field besides Saquon Barkley. So, and not even a great interior offensive line. Daniel Jones, I don't blame him one bit if he wants 40 to 45 million, or his agency that he switched to. He's not part of CAA anymore. He's part of Sports First Athletes now.
Agency. Yeah, I forgot to mention that.
Which I don't blame him. I don't blame him. This is Daniel Jones' opportunity right now to cash in, especially with the market of quarterbacks. So let's just be real. Daniel Jones is probably the most sought-after quarterback on this free agent market, even more than Aaron Rodgers, even more than David or Derek Carr, because he's young, he's getting better, he's starting to come into his own, and he's a dual-threat quarterback right now. A lot of people would love to have Daniel Jones in his offense. So I don't blame him absolutely one single bit if he wants to ask for 40 to 45 million. But the key factor is, everybody, keep repeating to yourself, March 7th. March 7th. 2 weeks from today. That is the tag deadline. You have 2 weeks. Joe Schoen, you have 2 weeks to try to come to some type of common ground with Daniel Jones, because to me, Daniel Jones is the key. You have to try to find a way to, if you want Saquon Barkley here on this team in 2023, you have got to find a way to get that deal locked up with Daniel Jones on a long-term deal and knock that number down. Because if Daniel Jones is on that tag, guess what? That's 32 mil of your about 46 to 50 mil locked up for that 1 year. And guess what? You are not paying Saquon Barkley the kind of money that he's looking for, because if you do, guess what you're doing? You're locking up all your cap space in 2 players. So if you want Saquon Barkley back, Joe Schoen is going to have to find a way, as well as Daniel Jones and his agency, to get that number down to a range where I believe Daniel Jones is around a $35 to $38 million a year quarterback at this point. Maybe I'll stretch it to 40. But I'd say 38 to 39 mil is my goal of where I'd like to try to get him. If it's 40, so be it. I won't exactly think it's the best thing in the world, but at the same time, if Daniel Jones wants that, he can have it. He earned it. So I think that this is the most important time for Joe Schoen and Daniel Jones and his agency. If they really if Jones wants to be a Giant and Joe Schoen wants to try to negotiate and says he wants Daniel Jones here, you got 2 weeks to find a way to come to some type of common ground. Because if you have to franchise tag him, all you Giants fans, you might as well start saying goodbye to Saquon Barkley. Because when he hits that open market, how many times have we all had to say, there is only takes one desperate team that needs a running back that will shell out 16 mil a year to sign Saquon Barkley. Especially, look at that running back market. Josh Jacobs, Miles Sanders, Kareem Hunt, Tony Pollard, Saquon Barkley. You don't think all 5 of those guys are looking right now to cash in, especially the seasons they had? They're all looking to cash in, and loyalty goes so far. I don't want these guys to have to take less money because they want to be loyal to the Giants. I'm sorry. Don't be loyal. Go out there and get your money, guys. You deserve it. NFL, you don't have guaranteed contracts, especially for Saquon as a running back who, let's just be real, has had 2 healthy seasons out of 5 years. And we know the running back market is devalued. Did you guys not see the report about Ezekiel Elliott that came out today, who's only a year or 2 older? People are saying that this dude doesn't have anything left in the tank. Who's to say that Saquon Barkley is not in that same position 2 years from now? If I'm Saquon, I want as much money as I can get. Of course, I'd want to work with the Giants, but at the same time, you got to think about what's best for you and your family and your career. So I don't blame these guys one damn bit if they want to go out there and cash in. And I'm sorry, Joe Schoen and Daniel Jones, just to close it out, you got 2 weeks. to come to some type of long-term agreement. And I'm gonna say it. In Joe Shane, I trust. Whether Daniel Jones is here, Saquon Barkley's here, or whomever. I'm a Giants fan, and not just a Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones fan. Go ahead, guys.
Well said, man. Well said, Jeff. I'm gonna play something from Connor Hughes here.
Okay.
This is the report. Let's see.
Oh snap! They dismissed Nate Miller today.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, he got fired today.
Wow.
Yeah. They gave him the axe. All right. So
Yeah, he's one game under 500 with the Hawks. That's
let's
why.
see. Can y'all see the screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
No, not right now.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Let me see what's going on.
Is the YouTube part of it paused? That's maybe why. Or not paused. The volume's off.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let me try it again. Let's see. Let me stop. All right. Yeah, because I want y'all to
Okay.
I want y'all to hear this. Share tab audio. Okay, it's on. So share system audio. There we go. I forgot to click it. All right.
Okay.
All right, now I should be able to hear it. I hear it now?
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay.
And for more on Daniel Jones, we welcome in our NFL insider, Connor Hughes. Connor, we know Jones switched agents. What we don't know is what's going on with the contract talks. Where do things stand right now?
Yeah, so there's been no formal demands yet from Daniel Jones' side, but they are coming, and when they do, they are expected to be high, maybe 40, maybe 45, maybe in excess of $45 million. And Daniel Jones is completely in his right to demand that, right? He's a player. He wants to maximize his worth. He can only play for so long, so he wants to make as much money as he possibly can for as long as he possibly can. But I think at some point here, someone close to Daniel Jones is going to have to sit him down and help him understand what might actually be best for him is not taking the most money right now. We're demanding the most money right now, I should say, because look, the Giants are not going to pay Daniel Jones $45 million. They are not going to pay him in excess of $45 million. And if Daniel Jones is so stuck on that number, well, what the Giants are going to do is they're going to slap him with the franchise tag. The problem with doing that is it is going to limit how much Joe Shane can do the rest of this offseason. That's $32.4 million. It immediately comes off the salary cap books this year, which means the odds of the Giants getting a number one receiver, they drop. The odds of the Giants bringing back Barkley, they drop. Fixing up the offensive line, they drop. What Daniel Jones should do and see is that maybe a deal at $35, $36, $37 million annually over the course of 5 years where they can space out that cap hit. It's going to allow the Giants to surround him with significantly more talent, allow him to maximize his worth, allow him to get more out of him. And guess what? In 5 years, Daniel Jones is just 30, where he can cash in again with another big year with still a ton of years of his prime left. So I think right now with Daniel Jones, he realizes, well, he might want $45 million a year. It might not be the best to ask for it and take that 35 to 37 annually that the Giants are more willing to do.
Facts.
That's just common sense. He's absolutely right on that.
Sense, man.
Common sense. It's negotiations, everyone. It's negotiations. So the agent and Daniel Jones and his party is going to ask for the most money right now. It's what is Jones and his agency going to do when Joe Shane has a counter offer? And is Daniel Jones really, is he going to think about it and say, my career with the Giants was absolutely going nowhere for the first 3 years of my career. And then all of a sudden I got Brian Daboll and his coaching staff to come in here, and they were able to tap into my potential and get the most out of me as a player in 2022. And do I feel comfortable enough going to another team or pretty much cap strapping my team right now where I'm going to make it difficult for them to bring back Saquon? Because a lot of us have said Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley are a package deal. If one goes, it doesn't make sense for the other to stay here. So Daniel Jones and his agency have 2 weeks to really start that negotiation period, and we have to wonder if it starts out at 45 million and then we get into like the later part of next week or this week, then we go into next week and it starts getting knocked down from like 42, 40, 30, like 39. Eventually we get into that sweet spot of about 35 to 37 mil, and then that's when they strike the deal, and then we get that before that tag deadline on March 7th, and then we could slap that franchise tag on Saquon Barkley, and then at least we got our 2 guys coming back for next year. So this is going to be the tricky part is will Daniel, just because we know the NFLPA is going to want Daniel Jones to take the biggest deal out there, and they're going to look at all these other quarterbacks and want Daniel Jones to try to get near market value for what some of these other quarterbacks are making out there. It's just like baseball. They want the player to take the most money that's out there. So Daniel Jones, you don't really see a lot of players taking a lot less money to stay in their current situation. Unfortunately, that's just not the way the NFL is. Unless you're Tom Brady, it's just very rare. But can they find a way to knock that money down into a range where Joe Schoen is going to feel comfortable enough to be willing to extend Daniel Jones to find a way to keep Barkley on this team? Because
even if you give him 40, okay, say you give him 40, you can spread that out, and that's what Connor Hughes was talking about over 5 years. So the cap hit is not bad. You know what I'm saying? So you could still have the flexibility to extend Dax, to extend Andrew Thomas, to extend Xavier McKinney, possibly bring back Julian Love and Saquon Barkley. It gives you that flexibility. But if you tag them, then you do not have that flexibility. It eats up almost half your cap. Now you could do different things, and we've done this on this show. Play around with the cap and move money around, extend players to get more money, but still you're still significantly limiting yourself. You talking about trading for a number 1 wide receiver and different things like that. So what Connor was saying hit home, because look, if you Daniel Jones, that's something you got to think about too. This is your career. You 25 years old, you're going to get another opportunity possibly to get another contract. And if you max out this time, it could hurt you from maxing out later on in the future, because you're not going to be able to surround yourself with talent. You're competing in a tough division. This division is the best in football, back to being what it's been. And you cannot take up most of the cap, just because, you want a couple extra $1 million. I know $1 million is a lot, but still you got to think about long term what's the best situation for him and for the Giants, because Daniel Jones can walk out of here, and I will say this, he will get paid if you let that dude hit the market. You think he ain't gonna get 40 from some team?
The Jets will give him 40, 45
You think the
mil.
Falcons won't? You think the Saints won't? These teams are desperate for quarterbacks. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you let them hit the market, and they know that's why this contract stuff is getting sticky, because now it's bringing back some of the leverage to Daniel Jones, where he could say, "Oh, okay, you don't want to tag me, you don't want me to hit the market either. So what you gonna do?" You know what I'm saying? But being fair, like Coach said, ain't no fairness in negotiation. Everybody's trying to get paid, and if you're the owners, you're trying to save as much money as you can. So the middle ground, I think, is why they started at 45 and why they put that number out there to the media. You know what I'm saying? They knew the fish was going to bite.
That was actually the journalist who wrote it. He said that was his opinion. Carl Banks even said it. He said, he said this is an opinion. The Giants or
what's good,
Daniel
Bookends?
Jones.
What's good, J-Lay, man? I seen that video you and G did, man. Y'all keep that up, man. That was dope, man. Good heart to heart, man. I like that show. Y'all keep that up, man. But go ahead, Coach.
No, Carl Banks said neither side put that information out there, and if the journalist says this is his opinion, people just took that and ran with it because they want, as I forgot who said it. He said, "They just trying to create clickbait for their own stuff. It's their hidden agenda. That's really what it is." And most people are, I'm gonna say it brutally, they're naive, they're oblivious, and they don't fully read what they're looking at. Because if you go in and it says this is my opinion, you're not gonna run around going and say, "Oh, Daniel Jones said this." you might say, your opinion, where'd you get your opinion from? What led you to this? Do you have any facts? Then you're going to question the journalist. You're not going to, that's where all this drama strives from, because somebody put out their opinion and people want to take it as facts and say, oh, that's what Daniel Jones said and wants. No, Daniel Jones ain't said, he ain't stupid. Daniel Jones is not going
What's
to
good,
negotiate
Breezy?
in the media. So, we, like I said before, we fans, get out of his pockets, leave him alone. The Giants want to pay him $100 million. All right. They ain't coming in my door saying, yo, Ed, do you got $1 million you can kick in to pay?
Right.
Come on, man. And
Yeah.
Jerry, oh well, it's the tickets and all this and that. I'm gonna say this, okay? If they were to pay Daniel Jones
That's
$100
for
million
Breezy
a
and
year,
Jay. If y'all want to hop on the stream, we're gonna talk
yeah.
basketball here in a little bit, Breezy, but we're gonna get this Daniel Jones shit out of the way.
If the Giants were to pay him whatever $45 million a year, let's just use that number, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And no fans or very few fans went to the stadium, is Daniel Jones still getting paid? So to say that, oh, it's the Giants fan paying him, it's a cause and effect, but the reality is it's still coming from the Giants. They have that money already put to the side. So it's not us. Leave it alone. I don't care what he gets paid. They have a budget, just like we have our budgets in our household, or our jobs has a budget. Our companies have the budgets. Whatever. Let it play out. Boom.
Like Bookend said, though, this came out after he changed agents.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? After he changed agents, because remember, the starting point when they first begun was 30 to 35, right? You know what I'm saying? Now all of a sudden it went up to 45. And that's why y'all got to pay attention. If they saying 45 and they started at 30 or 35, you're going to meet in the middle somewhere. That's why I'm saying the max I think Jones will get is 40. And that's the max. And even that's not a bad number if you're looking at with Dak Prescott and some Watson, Stafford, some of these other quarterbacks, Kyler Murray, they all getting, you know what I'm saying? If you look at that, it's really going to be a bargain number, especially when you're looking at down the road. Look, I've been hearing Justin Herbert is asking for $65 million a year, and he hasn't even won a playoff game.
Exactly. So that's why, to me, it's crazy that we sit here and argue over all this. Yo, let it go, man. Whatever the man makes, whatever the man. We in the environment that he could do that. Props to you. You get your money, bro. I ain't in your pocket, so I want to see you as a Giant. Whatever it costs, go out there, get your money, and then go out there on the field and win. That's it. That's it. That's it.
So the other thing I want to tap into concerning the Giants is reports are coming out, and Twitter, they took this one and ran with it too. That the Giants are interested in Hendon Hooker from Tennessee, the Tennessee quarterback.
Yeah, I heard that.
Apparently, they brought him in for a visit. He met with some other teams, but those, it's a handful of teams that was interested in him. He,
okay.
Now, they people saying that's they looking because they think Jones is not going to be there. So, there's fans that like Hendon. Personally, he ain't gonna be it for me. I think he's older than Daniel Jones. I think this dude's like 26, coach.
No, I think he's 24.
Okay. Yeah, I knew he was a little bit older.
Yeah, he's older in terms of the quarterbacks coming out. He's not 21, 22 years old. He's 24 years, if I'm not mistaken. He's
25.
He's 25. There you go.
25, yes. That's what I thought. He's the same age, or maybe a little bit older than DJ.
Yeah. And don't forget, he's coming off of that knee injury. So
injury, yeah.
So
I think they just looking at this dude for a backup, man. To be honest with you, I would not be shocked if the Giants took a quarterback in the later rounds of the draft. I don't think they do so on day one or day two, but maybe 4th, 5th round. You could see that. Wouldn't surprise me. You know what I mean? Just because injuries happen, man. You know what I'm saying? And hope this don't knock on wood, but if something was to happen to DJ, you know what I'm saying? And Tyrod Taylor, he's not the most durable guy. So and Davis Webb, I mean, he's looking to go into coaching. So
exactly.
That's why they looking at Hendon Hooker, because you do need quarterbacks. You don't just need one. Y'all so focused on one guy, you don't even think about the fact. This would kill me about these Giants fans. Start Tyrod Taylor, and who else? You just gonna put Tyrod out there by himself? You need another quarterback. So either way it goes, you're gonna have to spend what you giving Tyrod. What's he making, Coach? Somebody pull that up for me.
$5-6 million right now.
$6 million. So say you go out and you get another guy, Mariota or Jimmy G, one of these other guys, and take up another 10 to 15 million. That's still, you know what I'm saying, a good chunk of your money you paying to the quarterback, and you don't have nothing near what Daniel Jones can give you from an offensive standpoint with his legs and his throwing ability. I don't care if he threw for 15 touchdowns. The guy ran for 7. He was top 5 rushing quarterback. Which you guys crave, this was the guy he was it. So I don't think that this Hendon Hooker thing is nothing but just them doing their due diligence and seeing if they can get a guy in a later round that has a little bit of upside that they could possibly develop, man, in case things do go sideways or DJ gets hurt. Whichever happens, you know what I mean? But we don't want that to happen, of course, But Coach, I know. Oh, okay, go ahead, Jeff. I'll let you chime in. Then Coach, when Jeffy gets done, if you could just give us kind of your scouting report on Hendon Hooker. That's kind of what I really want to hear. But go ahead,
I was just gonna say real quickly. I mean, it's like what the Miz said about last week. It's smokescreen season. You're gonna be hearing reports all over the place about this player here, this player there. This is pretty much that 2-week period, franchise tag, trades, all that kind of stuff. You're going to be hearing all these crazy rumors all over the place. So some of you could choose what you want to believe, but right now it's all just a whole lot of rumors, a lot of speculation and everything. So you got about 2 weeks. You got about 2 weeks until you're going to start seeing a lot of moves, including franchise tags. Because don't expect Don't expect anybody to get franchise tagged this week and probably going into next week. It's going to be a lot closer to that March 7th deadline when you're going to start seeing, decisions being made, players getting extended, players getting cut, all that kind of stuff. You're going to start seeing everything coming to fruition around the middle or late next week. So that's all I really want to say about that. Go ahead, Coach.
Okay. Hendon Hooker, when he was healthy, yes, he was progressing to be one of the top quarterbacks. I did truly like him. But again, he's also an experienced quarterback. He's older. So, that's something you take into consideration. But he's very mobile. He does have a good, strong arm. He does well in reading. Let me see something. And I can do this. I can give you guys some little film on Hendon Hooker too as we go. So, but
okay.
Again, he's athletic. He did play with some elite wide receivers. Don't get me wrong. So I do respect that he was doing
Hyatt was over there, right? Jalen Hyatt,
Tillman,
first one.
Cedric
Tillman, yeah.
So but yeah, again, he is a good quarterback. If he's in the right system and he's over the injury and you develop him right, it won't surprise me to see him being a good starter. It really won't. So let me know when you see the screen. See my screen.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, this is against Alabama. Okay, so this is going to be a top game. So, and there's some good safeties. Hendon Hooker's the quarterback, but watch him. See his read, see his footwork, good follow through. There you go. This is also going to give you the back end angle. So, and if you watch him, see good fake, look at his mechanics, watch his shoulders, step through. Good quarterback. He is a good quarterback. So, now
real decisive with that decision making. I've seen that.
Exactly. So now see what he does. He takes off and runs. And look at him moving. That number 14 is one, and 14 and 9 are very good safeties. They're probably the top 2 to 3 safeties in the NFL draft. So, you see what he can do. He's mobile. He's elusive. I'm going to give us 2 more plays. Look at what he did. Perfect in the pocket. Read it. Follow through. Look right, left. Come back to the right.
He stayed in that. He's hung in that pocket too. I like that.
Exactly.
He's a fifth-year senior, right? He's a fifth-year senior.
Yeah, he's a super senior. He's also got the COVID, and so
got that experience which helps him.
So he didn't have the ability to step through, but he does have a decent arm. So
good pocket presence there, man.
Exactly. Like and see now, good fake, step through. I'm going to give us one more after this one. So, come on, here we go. Okay, good drop back. Look at the mechanics putting the ball downfield. Okay, so
I like how he looked off. See, he looked right and came back to his second read.
Yeah. So as you see, Hendon Hooker, when he's healthy, he can be a good quarterback, and in the right system, there he's playing in the Josh Heupel system, so it's definitely a spread offense. But again, he can move, he's mobile, he can definitely get the ball down the field. He does a good job of reading the defense. So if you get him in the late round, coming off that knee injury, that's fine. Giants, do your due diligence. That's smart. That's smart management. So you have to see. You also have to check out the medicals. You bring him in, you take a look at his medicals, see where he is, and then you decide, hey, and then you're going to grade him. Where are you putting him on your board? So if he's there,
what round you think, Coach? Because I know he's down on the quarterback list.
Okay. Because of his injury, 4th, 5th round, it depends on the knee injury.
4th or 5th, yeah.
If he wasn't,
that's what I thought.
I'll be honest with you. If he wasn't injured, he's a first-round quarterback.
Okay.
So that and you saw right there. I could pull up more film. I have him going up in what? Let me see how many games. I don't want to sit here and break down film with y'all. I have them in 5 games: Alabama, Florida, Kentucky, LSU, and Pittsburgh. So those are
hold it, because we're gonna talk draft in a little bit when I bring in when we talk about the Jets and the Giants later on in the show.
But there's your thoughts on Hendon Hooker. For me, if he's in the 4th round, if he makes it to the 5th round, I'd take a fly on him. Wait a minute. How many? We have 2/3 and
got 2/3 and 2/5? I want to say, or 2/7.
Oh, 2/7.
No, we got 11 picks. 11 picks.
We got 11 picks. So if it's a 7, or hey, if he's there in the 6th round, then you go ahead. I take a shot. Anywhere after realistically 5th on down, if he's there when you draft, personally. Because, like you said, Davis Webb is probably going to be a coach. So you're still going to need a 3rd quarterback. So you could take him, bring him in. If his medicals say that it's worth it. Now, if his medicals are saying he probably has to sit the year, I'm not going to waste a draft pick on him.
Yeah,
I let him go to UDFA rather let somebody else draft him. So
because you remember, and the reason. I know, like in the Eli Manning days, we only carry 2 quarterbacks, but you got to understand the injury history of Daniel Jones and Tyrod Taylor. So, especially when you run in this type of offense, when your quarterback's going to be do a lot of RPO and a lot of design runs, you want to have some insurance on your guy, man. And I think that's maybe what they're looking at. They know if they're going to make a commitment to Daniel Jones, they need to have a break glass in case of emergency situation. You know what I mean? So possibly Hendon Hooker could do that if he's healthy himself. So that's the only concern I would have with him. But he looks good on film, man. I can't lie, man. I do want to break some more film down on him. But let's keep the show rolling. Let's switch gears here to the Brooklyn Nets. Links in the chat, Breezy, if you want to come up and talk about this Jacque Vaughn. Jacque Vaughn getting an extension, man. Getting an extension, and what I got here through 2026, 2027. So Jacque Vaughn 32-19 record. The Nets currently 5th in the East, 7th in the NBA record-wise. I just checked the power rankings. I think they're 11th or 12th in the power rankings. So for all they've been through, everything this team been through, all the drama, all the BS, all the nonsense, this guy coming in, in the beginning of the season, after Steve Nash being fired, being able to come out of there with a 32-19 record, despite not having, Kyrie and KD for most of that. It's a phenomenal job by Jacque Vaughn. It's a phenomenal job by Jacque Vaughn. I like Jacque Vaughn as a coach. I think he's a stand-up dude. I think he deserves his opportunity here, with Brooklyn to let this team grow. Basically, he can be what we should have kept with Kenny Atkinson. You know what I'm saying? Maybe JV. I'm not saying that's comparing coaches, but the vibe, new team. You got young talent now. You got all these knuckleheads out of the building, man. So let's see what this guy can do. Let's see if he can develop this team. That's what I'm looking for. Player development. I want to see Cam Thomas get better. I want to see Bridges get better. Cam Johnson, Claxton. I want to see all these young guys, start to pick it up and start to improve a little bit, especially on the offensive end, with Clax and Mikal. You know what I'm saying? So definitely think it's deserving, and I think this is the right move. Let's quiet some of this noise down. Let's get back to playing basketball, and I think that's what Jacque Vaughn is going to do. And having him as a coach locked down for an extended period of time, it gives players surety. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to come play for a coach that's on a hot seat. So I think it provides some type of stability. Finally, maybe for a change, we can get some type of stability with this team. Let this coach come in here, let him develop this young talent. We do have some talented players on this team, and just see what they can do. Compete, just compete until you can get, back to where we should have been, which is in the finals. So right now, all we can ask for is for this team to compete. We know the talent is not there with some of the other teams, but they can compete. And Jacque Vaughn, to me, is the perfect coach right now to have this team just develop and try to compete and win some games, man, and give this fan base something, man, because we done been through it with this team, man. But Jeff, what's your spill on JV? And what's your thoughts, and do you agree with them giving him an extension?
Well, first off, did you hear about the interesting trademark that Cam Thomas filed for today?
No, I didn't hear that. What happened?
He filed for a trademark called "Ain't Shit Funny," and this is on Bleacher Report. He apparently filed for a trademark because there was also he apparently wasn't thrilled with his playing time being taken away and not being able to start out there. So I'm just hoping to God that this kid is not going to start up, because he was, the kid was 40-plus point scorer when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving weren't there, and then all of a sudden these new guys come in, his minutes go down, his playing time goes down, his points per game go down. So I mean, I hope this kid is not starting to get a little bit too much of a big head or anything, but I found that very interesting when he put that trademark out there, like "Ain't Shit Funny." I'm like, oh God, not again, please. But
yeah, I'll be interested to hear Breezy when he come on his thoughts on that, because
that caught me off a little bit when I saw that. When I saw that and the report about Cam Thomas being a little frustrated about his playing time going down, I'm like, Oh God, please not again. But in terms of JV, go ahead, Coach.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to say, sorry, Jeff. That's just a young player who doesn't understand the NBA. That you get new players in, and you still got to see.
He's only 21.
Yeah, hopefully somebody pull him to the side and say, "Yo."
And he was close with Kevin Durant. He might feel some type of way about that too. Who knows, man? You know what I'm saying? But Jacque Vaughn having this continuity now. Look, I'm the guy. I'm Jacque Vaughn. I'm the guy. I'm going to be here. Look, let me pull you to the side, young man. Let's talk.
Exactly.
You know, we need you. You're a big part of this team. You're part of the rebuild, man. We need you here, man. We need you on the same page with Mikal and Nick and Spence and everybody else. So I think Cam will be all right, man. I think he'll be all right. And he's going to be a major focal point of this team. He's got to be. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, yeah, he's going to probably be either a potential. He's going to be a guy that they're going to count on towards late end of the games, and also being off the bench as that 6-man type scorer, which is not a bad thing. But in terms of Jacque Vaughn, I mean, the dude deserves it. He should have had an opportunity. Should have had an opportunity before. I mean, once Kenny Atkinson was let go, I don't understand why Jacque Vaughn didn't get the opportunity a couple of years ago, and why they decided to go. Well, we know why they decided to go to Steve Nash, but I mean, Jacque Vaughn is just. He's sort of a little bit like that old school coach that is like a no nonsense guy, but he's very good with the players. He's very good with drawing up these different types of schemes on the court, offensively and defensively. I like what he does when, like, you see a team that's about to go on a little bit of a run, and he knows when exactly to call that timeout to sort of regather his team together. And if he knows a run is about to come, he calls that timeout, gets everybody together, draws up a play, and gets the team in more of a calmer situation. I mean, I think he absolutely deserves the extension he got, especially with all the BS that happened with this team. Let him go out there and know this is his team. He's going to be the guy for at least the next couple of years. Being able to coach up this team currently constructed. He's got a lot of good young talent now on this team. We already saw a glimpse of what some of these guys can do. Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Cam Thomas, Nicholas Claxton. Obviously, we know what Dinwiddie can provide on the floor. I like Finney Smith. He's got a good Yuta Watanabe. I'd like to see Edmund Sumner get some playing time again. Day'Ron Sharp, hopefully he'll get some playing time as well. But I like the collection of these players on this team. I mean, I just want to see what Jacque Vaughn can do with these guys for the rest of the season. I think it was the right thing to do. Now at least you put aside any of that insecurity about him potentially being the head coach for just past the season. At least you nip that in the butt. You get it done during this couple of day All-Star break. So then that way he knows this is my team. I'm in charge. I'm going to do what I can to get this team in the best position to at least make, around the 5th, 6th seed, maybe even higher, depending on what this Nets team does, going into like the last 26, 27 games of the NBA season. So I thought it was the right thing to do. I love the fact they did this. I think Jacque Vaughn deserves it after everything that's happened with this Nets franchise the past couple of years. And I'm really, really curious to see how he is able to get this team to perform at the highest of levels for the rest of the season going into the playoffs.
Yeah, man, I agree, man. And you got to think too now, with JV being here, man, for full time now, it is definitely gonna, I wouldn't say, but expectations is already low, but you can coach and the players can play a little more freely now, if you know what I'm saying, because it's not this high expectation that they got to win a championship. So I think that's also good for player development, especially guys like Cam Thomas, man, getting some confidence, getting out there, getting some minutes, man. So, but
can
coach,
we bench
man,
Ben Simmons?
Man,
can we bench him, please?
Man, I seen a report. It's funny. They said the Nets got 2 of the best contracts in the NBA, and Bridges and Claxton, and they got the worst and Simmons all on the same roster. Ridiculous. Thank you, Sean Marks. But coach, what's your thoughts? From a coaching perspective, man. Because we always lean on you when it comes to coaching. About Jacque Vaughn getting an extension. Think it's the right move, or what's
Yeah,
your thoughts?
it's definitely the right move. Smart. I mean, like you said, it's about the continuity. Players see what's going on, and if they feel he's a lame duck, then they're going, well, what's going on? You
Right.
just brought these new players in. You got to give
Mhm.
them, a level of confidence that Jacques Vaughn is the one to coach them. And because if not, then like you said, he's a lame duck. Players are just going to go only but so far, and then they're going to tap out after a while. But at least he's here. Then you can move forward. You can fight, and then you see where you see where the chips lay. If you move up in the seedings, great. If you move down, okay. But at least the future. You have him going forward. So
Yeah, man. I agree, man. I agree with all that, man. Now getting into the second half of this season, and we're gonna talk about the Knicks too here. No real major news that I've heard with the Knicks, as far as anything like major happening after the All-Star break. But let's just talk about what's it gonna look like moving forward. Right now, these teams are neck and neck. The Nets are fifth, Knicks are sixth in the East. What's your expectation? We'll start with the Knicks and swing it back over to Coach. What's your expectation for this team in the second half of the season? I'm hearing that the Nets and the Knicks both have two of the toughest schedules remaining in the league. So it's gonna be a fight to the finish, man. But what's your expectations? Given everything that's happened, bringing Josh Hart into the fold, who I think has done a pretty good job so far. What are your thoughts on this Knick team moving forward, and what's your expectations for them?
now y'all know I have been so hard on them, especially
Mm-hmm.
Tibbs. Okay. But I have to give credit where credit is due. The Josh Hart move was a great move, and it's starting to fit into where it needs to be. Now, are some of the younger guys, Miles McBride, is he the cause and effect? Is he suffering? Yes. Plus you got rid of a player in Reddish who really wasn't giving you anything, and look what's happening. Now, are the teams in the league going to adjust? Yes. But um, Hart is doing well. The question ultimately is going to be RJ. How is he going to fit
Yeah.
into this whole situation? Because right now, he's not playing well, and he's too inconsistent. You got to get him to be more consistent, because if he's consistent, Hart coming off the bench is wonderful. Now if you end up having to start him and move RJ to the bench, does RJ keep trickling, and does it mess with him mentally? He can still fit in there, but you're not paying this man $100 million to come off the bench. Because
Exactly.
you already have somebody in the $70 million range coming off the bench. So to have two guys, that would be that's a bad look, definitely on Leon Rose. But my expectation is for them to continue to keep doing what they're doing. They can compete with the teams that are right above them, Cleveland, you guys, and the teams right behind them, Miami. Who else is behind them? Indiana,
Atlanta.
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 Well, Atlanta right now is in free fall now that they fired whatchamacallit. I mean,
Nate McMillan.
yeah,
Yeah.
that leaves me wondering how much. I mean, can they really pull it together? I mean, I'm not saying they can't, but that really leaves me saying they're going to end up, falling out of favor eventually. So, and they may
Mhm.
fall out of the play-in. So, let me look at the seedings right now in the play-in. CBS Sports, NBA
Raptors
standings.
are not that far behind either. That's a team you got to
Yeah,
watch out for if
the
Toronto starts
Raptors and the
catching wind.
Wizards. The
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Raptors and the Wizards. The Knicks have already lost 2 games to the Raptors, so the Heat are literally a half a game behind them. The Hawks are basically what 3.5 behind the Knicks right now, and then you fire your head coach. So
Yeah.
so the point being is, do I think that they are in a good spot right now to at least make the playoffs? Yes. Worst case scenario, they're in the play-ins, but they have the talent to stay where they are, even with a tough schedule. So Julius, for everything that I've been hard on, he has been playing phenomenally this year. What can we say about Jalen Brunson? I mean, right now he's the heart and soul of this team. Quentin Grimes has to step up. If he plays like he played, like everyone's telling me he played at the All Star game, that's the Quentin Grimes that we're looking for. You know, I mean, like I said, I didn't see the All Star weekend, but I kept hearing Grimes went off. He was killing it in that game. So, and that's what I'm looking for. So, you know, he has that talent. So if that can transition to the Knicks, that really helps their offense as well as their defense. Then their defense becomes that much better because him, Hart, you know, RJ is okay at times, but then you bring back Mitchell Robinson, you know, and you got Miles McBride. Quickly still is a good defender. So now you have a defensive unit, so you can. It's just the offense. It really boils down to the offense and being a little bit more, having more movement and not having them just do a lot of ISO ball all the time or pick and roll and that's it, and expect guys to always just sit in the corner and shoot threes. So um, I'm sorry, I got married with children, and Marcy is she's in Al's face, hands on the hip, bobbing the head.
Love and marriage, love and marriage goes together like a horse and carriage.
Yeah, that got me. So, but do I think they're right there? Now, are they championship caliber? No. But I will say this: if you were to have a superstar on that team, they could compete in the East. So
y'all got this. Can y'all see my screen?
A little bit.
Yes, I see it. It's small, but I can see it.
Yeah, I see it. It's just really small.
Let me do something else.
Okay.
All right.
I like the Knicks. I do. I mean, I think the Knicks are going to be a team you got to watch out for going into the second half. And I mean,
can you see it now?
Yeah, I see it.
It's still a little far from me.
Okay. You on your phone, Jeff?
No, I'm on my laptop right now.
Okay. Can you see it now? I can't make it too big.
I can see it, but I mean, I'm
gonna read a little bit of it.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is the power rankings. They got the Knicks at 8th. This is just fresh out from NBA.com.
In the
I'll
league?
I'll go through the top real quick. I'm not gonna read it all, but we just gonna read the Knicks and Nets. That's what we do. Heart of the city. Y'all hit that like button, man. You know what I'm saying? Milwaukee first, of course. No argument.
They got lucky. They got lucky with the Giannis news too. I don't know if you heard that he escaped potential damage to his wrist. So that's a big worry for them.
Boston second, no argument there. Denver third. The Sixers fourth. Okay.
Sixers are good.
Cleveland fifth. Okay.
It's East loaded.
Yeah, they really believe in those East teams.
Yeah, it is. But the East has got I think 5 or 6 out of the. I think they got 6 or 7 out of the top. I think the only top ones is Memphis, Denver, and
Sacramento.
Clippers.
Clippers got better. I will say that they got a lot of good depth pieces, especially getting Westbrook too. They got better. That's a team to watch out for in the Western Conference the rest of the way.
And then the Knicks. The Knicks this is interesting at 8. Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle have played over 1,700 minutes together, 166 more than 2 other two-man combination in the league. So they're playing a lot of minutes. And that's going to be key going down into the stretch. Are they playing too many minutes? You know what I mean? But Josh Hart right here. One of the reserves was Josh Hart, who averaged 17 points on an efficient field goal shooting percentage of 77.6% over 3 games. He certainly won't shoot that well going forward, but Hart will probably continue to close games. So he's a closer, man. Close games, man. That's something that the Knicks have been missing. a guy that can close out games, man. That's something that the Nets don't have now, thankfully to the BS. One of those 3 wins came against the Nets, who the Knicks trail by 3 games in the loss column. The 2 teams have similar, this is what I was talking about, tough remaining schedules. And the final head-to-head meeting will be next week in New York. So that's key. Knicks versus Nets next week, man. That's going to be a key key matchup. And it says that will be the end of a 3-game homestand that begins with a visit from the Pelicans, a rest disadvantage game for the Knicks on Saturday.
Knicks need to win that game between the Nets, because if the Nets win, they win 3 out of 4 against them, and they would have the advantage if they're tied.
Mm-hmm.
Nets actually have advantages over quite a few teams in the East when it comes to seeding. So, I mean, because they've won some pretty decent head-to-heads with some of the other teams they're competing with. So that's the one thing that gives the Nets advantage when it comes to, like, seeding. Against Miami, they've beaten them twice. They've beaten Washington twice. I believe they've beaten the Knicks 2 out of 3 times. So Toronto, they've beaten all 3 times. Atlanta, they've beaten. So the Nets actually have advantages over a lot. They've beaten Cleveland. They haven't beaten Philadelphia, though. And Boston, obviously, we haven't beaten. I mean, we can't solve them. But, the Nets have some advantages. But in terms of the Knicks, I compare the Knicks a lot to Sacramento. And I think that, like, when De'Aaron Fox got Malik Monk on the same team with them, nobody understands how getting your former college teammate on the same team really helps out a player. I think that did that for Jalen Brunson, getting Josh Hart and his team, his former college player back there. It really gives you, like, that extra jolt. And, like, with Sacramento and how they're playing in the West, I believe they're 3rd in the Western Conference. I mean, the Knicks, they got a hell of a young team. They really do. And the Knicks are going to be a team that's going to be a team to worry about. And like Coach said, R.J. Barrett is the key. If R.J. Barrett can start playing a lot better in this last stretch of the season, and he can start playing like he did last year, I think the Knicks could be in position to potentially compete for a home playoff series. I do.
Yeah, man, that's the whole key, RJ, because right now his play has been.
That's putting it nicely.
They're 7th in offensive rating, though, 15th in defensive rating, and net rating 2. That's 8th.
Defense will go up when they get Mitchell Robinson back.
Yeah, most definitely.
Robinson's a big addition to their defense.
They go to Kings. I know you were asking about the Kings. They're 10th.
I like them a lot. I like that team a lot, the Kings. They're a sleeper team in the West.
So we got to go down a little bit. Is Brooklyn Nets. So the Nets are 12th.
The favorite.
Despite having the 7th best record in the NBA, but this is power rankings. So offensive rating, they're 9th. Defensive rating, they're 14th. Net rating of 9, 1 below the Knicks. Read what it says briefly here. Nets split their 2 pregame against the 2 teams trailing them in the standings, getting clobbered by the Knicks and then blowing past the Heat with a huge 4th quarter. 17 of his career high 45 points from Mikal Bridges. The bigger difference between the 2 games was actually on the other end of the floor, where the Knicks had their most efficient game of the season, 124 points on just 89 possessions. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, you can't have that.
Despite all the perimeter length, the new Nets haven't been a very disruptive team. I agree. I don't know what's going on with the defense. Forcing just 10.4 turnovers per 100 possession over the 3-game with the new assemble. Their starting lineup, 2 Mavs, 2 Suns, and Nick Claxton has allowed just 77 points on 88 defensive possessions and has 8 of their 13 steals and 1/3 of their total minutes over the 3 games. And here we go again. But as the case with the pre-deadline Nets, this team is being held back by Ben Simmons' inability to return anything close to all-star form. He had 0 steals, 2 blocks, and 7 fouls in 50 minutes. 2 blocks, 0 steals, and 7 fouls in 50 minutes off the bench. As the Nets went 2-1 with that new group. The Nets had one of the league's toughest post-break schedules, and it begins with a stretch where they're playing 9 of 11 games on the road.
Wow.
If they were to slip to 7th or 8th place in the East, the Hawks would most likely be their play-in opponent, and they'll be in Atlanta on Sunday afternoon. They're 2-0 against the Hawks thus far, with the necessary context being that Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant combined for more than half their points over those 2 games. So a little bit of an uphill battle for the Nets. But they coming out of the break with Atlanta and Chicago. 2 games you gotta take care of. You gotta win those 2 games.
Gotta win those games. Yep.
You cannot slip against these bottom feeder teams, man, because it is a race. You see Miami, they right there behind you, 32-27, the 13th. Let's go to the standings real quick.
And those 2 teams are in turmoil too. I mean, Atlanta firing their coach, and Chicago has been an absolute disappointment. There's no reason why the Nets. Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is the standings right here. If you guys could see it.
Yeah, I see it.
And right here you got the Nets and the Knicks right there, 5th and 6th. So you know, hey, look, man, you know, possibly 2 playoff teams looking at right here. You look at the road record, the Knicks 17-12. That's a pretty good road record. The Nets they're pretty good at home. Division and, you know, conference, Nets a bit better in the conference, and I think this is going to play a factor, like you said, Jeffy, in any type of tiebreakers right here. You see the Knicks and the Heat, they right there together, but the Knicks have the better conference record. So if they were tied, it would go to, well, first it goes to head-to-head. I don't know their head-to-head, but conference record is gonna matter if the head-to-head is the same. So if the Knicks and the Nets were, say the Knicks win the next game and they tie 2-2, this conference record right here is gonna be in favor of the Nets, even if they tie. So that's why I'm saying you gotta beat Atlanta and you gotta beat Chicago down here in 11. You know, you gotta take care of these 2 teams, you know, moving forward, man. But what do you guys think? Like I said, here's kind of let me let him in. All right. But that's kind of the overview. Let me get back to it. There we go. That's kind of the overview of the standings. So what's your what do you guys think about that so far? Let me close this out. Get back to the chat.
Well, I'll let Breezy talk about the Jacques Vaughn situation first. Like, you know, I'm curious to hear what he feels about Vaughn getting that extension, and, you know, if he believes it's the right thing that the Nets did. So I'm curious to hear what Breezy has to say.
What's good, Tudo? Massive salutes and respects to all my Big Blue Crew brothers in the building. Kenny Coach, Ed Wells, Jeffy Bookends, all diehard Giants fans in the house. Greetings from Princeton. And F all Eagles losers. See you. Forget about it.
That's right.
I miss Princeton, bro.
Oh, man, you're at Princeton. Yeah, damn.
Oh,
that's what's up, man. But what's good with you, Breezy, man? What's good, man? Talk to us about what you think about well, first we talked about Jacques Vaughn, and then give us your expectations for the second half of the season.
First and foremost, shout out to all y'all, man. I was listening to the show. Shout out to I heard all y'all points of view. I agree with a lot of it. But what I'll add to the conversation is, I think it's the irony of having Steve Nash, a no good coach with 2 superstars, and then we got a superstar coach. I won't call him a superstar coach. I'll say a good coach. And then we got no superstars, but we got stars in the making with Cam Thomas and Mikal Bridges. Now, what I will say is, I'd rather have a good sound coach and stars he could work with and build with, opposed to superstars that bring their accomplishments, their championships, their egos. You got Mikal Bridges and Cam Thomas who want to prove they belong here, want to prove that Cam Thomas want to prove that he deserves to start. And I'm all correlating this back to Jacques Vaughn. Jacques Vaughn knows he has a young, hungry group to work with. And I think he coaches this unit better than he coaches the other unit, which we went 18-2 out of 20 games. And the only reason why I'm a firm believer is because all the conversations we had on Heart of the City, shout to Heart of the City, and when me and Coach was talking about building a team and the culture and what a coach means to the actual team. In my opinion, a coach is more of a person on the team that can bring the other teammates together. You know, if a superstar catches an attitude, you understand what I'm saying? It could throw the whole team off. But what Coach said before I got on, like, you know, Jacque Vaughn could pull Cam Thomas to the side. Like, yo, let me talk to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and I think Jacque Vaughn, with his experience as an assistant coach with the Brooklyn Nets, is part of the reason why he's such a strong coach. And to add to that, I don't agree that he should have got the look when he got to the Brooklyn Nets immediately, because he was a subpar coach with the Orlando Magic. And before I was listening to y'all talk, I went and checked his record. The Orlando Magic, his third year, he got fired because he was a subpar coach in the first 2 years. But when I seen the interview with Megan Tripoli, he said he was ready to compete, but he wasn't ready to coach, whatever that means. I imagine Coach know what that means. But that being said, I think it's a good, strong move, and you are supposed to build from the top, from the front office to the head coach to the players. And I don't got a problem with Cam Thomas being upset that he want more minutes. He deserves it. And in my opinion, this year and the next year is going to show that he only went 27th in that draft class because he was a rookie. When you look at the draft class that Cam Thomas was in last season, that draft class, you're going to see that he's one of the top 10 players in that draft class as of now. And I think, again, I contribute that to the fact that is what is going to be winning basketball for Jacque Vaughn. Jacque Vaughn he got a second-year guy. He could actually make a star. He can make Cam Thomas a star. And I think that Jacque Vaughn and Sean Marks' relationship will continue to grow. From what I hear, the contract, and I think you said it, NYG 22, where it's from 2026 to 2027?
Yeah, that's what I heard. He was signed through 26 to 27 as the contract extension.
Did you see Sean Marks' quote, what he said about Jacque Vaughn?
I did not. If you want to elaborate.
He gave him big praise. He said, you know, what he's done in this short span of time is unmeasurable, and, you know, just kind of gave great credit to Jacque Vaughn for what he's done and what he's did as a coach and as a person for the team, for the organization. And I feel like he is the best fit. You know, people debate about Ime being a better coach, but I think Ime, even if he is, I think Jacque Vaughn is a better fit for this team. So I'm happy. I'm excited, and I agree with y'all with the must wins with Chicago. Those wins like that, I think we win those games. I seen Jacque Vaughn win without KD and Kyrie in the Pacer game, and since we talking about it, without the superstars, Jacque Vaughn is 2-2. I think he's like 2-2 without the KD or Kyrie on the floor. So that's not too shabby.
The past couple games, but yeah, I agree, man. Everything you said there, man. Now tell me this, you know, because like Jeffy was saying with Cam Thomas, what do you think Cam Thomas's issue is? Do you think it's minutes, or do you feel like he might be a little salty because of the situation with KD? Because I remember you telling me that him and KD was really close. And by the way, y'all, the reason I asked my man Big Fan Breezy, and please go sub. It's on the banner right here. Go sub to that man's channel. He is definitely dialed in and connected to the Brooklyn Nets. But what's your thoughts on what's going on with Cam? And I personally don't think it's too much of an issue, but I do want to hear what you got to say about that.
I feel like he's seen the media dissemble the Brooklyn Nets. I think he feel like a big part of the reason why Kyrie and KD is not on the team is because of what the media said and did. And him being such a young player and Kyrie and KD being impressionable on him, I think he shies away from the media. And I think he's going to be this way for his whole career. You know, this is leaves a, you know, for lack of better words, leave a bad taste in his mouth. Like, yo, like fuck the media. You know what I mean? Not like that, but you know, these guys always try to make more. They don't come and just ask basketball questions and go home. They come and try to stir the pot, and it's like it's what's the word for it? It's just bad for basketball, in my opinion. You know, I guess it's good for the media business, but it's
Daniel
bad
Jones.
for the basketball.
Excuse me.
So I'm saying that to say that Cam Thomas is that kind of guy where his personality is like to me an introvert extrovert. Like, he's an extrovert on the basketball court. He'll shine. He'll do all of that. But when he's in front of the camera and giving interviews, the one time he tried to be himself, he said, no homo, pardon my language. You know, I'm not trying to get banned and no wild, crazy shit. Like, he said that one time on in a post-game interview with Spencer Dinwiddie. Him and Spencer laughed, and the interviewer right there said, I'm sure that the media is going to have fun with this. And they fined him $40,000. So if you ever see Cam Thomas show up to the podium and talk to the media, don't expect him to be all smiley with them. He's not even like that anyway. You know what I mean? And I just think that the media focus on the athlete being too PR ready. Some of these guys don't want to deal with the media. They want to come play basketball and go home. They want to hoop and leave. Y'all want them to answer questions. Y'all want to ask these provoking questions to try to trigger something so y'all can spin the narrative one way or the other way. They just want to come play hoop and go home. And I think that's a good explanation of Cam Thomas. He want to hoop and go home.
I'm gonna say this, Breezy, about the media, news media. You're 1,000% right. First of all, the media is gonna provoke and pick and do whatever and try and spin it the best way because they want a story, because that's how they get paid. But bro, what you're talking about has been going on since the 1920s. It really has. I mean, and that's why they are contractually obligated to speak to the media.
Wow.
That's all sports. If you pull out a player contract, it is in all the contracts. Doesn't matter if you're a top player, doesn't matter if you're the last player. If they want to speak to you, you have to speak to them. And yeah, you're right. The media is going to try and trick them, and if they're not media savvy, that's where you have to have a good PR department. The PR department has to,
especially in
be
New
there.
York.
Exactly. And then when they're like Breezy, like you're saying, there's supposed to be somebody who's a PR, who's supposed to stop the interview, if need.
Yeah, we turn him back into a Giants fan to answer to those questions. He said, "Is Breezy a Giants fan?"
I am because of the podcast. Fact.
But go ahead, finish your point.
He doesn't want to be a Jets fan.
But I understand fully what you're talking about, because a lot of these guys are awkward, and in terms of the no homo, you're right, it is politically correctness, because you have gay people who get offended by that, and they're big subscribers nowadays. So, and the sports teams don't want to lose that. They don't want to lose that. So I understand, like a lot of time, y'all, guys tell me, pause, coach, pause this, pause that. I'm not saying anything offensive, but it can be construed that way. So it's like, you have to be mindful. So even now, there are certain things that I elongate words to give a clear meaning. So this way, nobody interprets it the wrong way. And players have to be that way. You can't, no matter what, you can't say it. You can't be yourself, when you're with your boys. You have to put on them media persona. But
Coach, I want to add to what you said, Coach. And again, in my age demographic, I'm 41, right? In my age demographic, growing up in like my 20s, even my teens or my 20s, so this has been going on for like 20 years. It became culture in hip hop community, in my opinion, where we say pause anytime we heard something that sounded funny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, Like, oh my God, you ain't playing good D. Like, hey, yo, pause. Now, we obviously know we talking about defense on the TV, but just being around guys, that's just shit that we would say and shit that we would do. Now, I'm saying that to say, and this is important to say, we never made fun of that community in a derogatory sense. Actually, it's the opposite. When we use the word, what Cam Thomas said in the interview, or pause, it was kind of like inviting in a sense. Well, we not that, but if you that, it's cool. We all cool. We don't care if you that. So my thing is the narrative of spinning things to make it seem like everybody that says something about that community is from a malicious intent. It's a ugly narrative, and they need to stop it. You got guys like Cam Thomas, who's 21. He probably he know how to hoop. He needs a PR guy. In my opinion, these young guys coming out from with social media and all of this stuff going on, you see everything going on with John Morant and all of these guys, they need PR guys. They need somebody to be a mouthpiece for them, so that way they could not have their words twisted and have narratives put on them to make it hard for them to focus on basketball, not because of anything basketball related, but because of the media.
Bro, you 1,000% correct. I'm not going to argue with you, but it goes. Let's put it like this, right? Because you said coming from their community, coming from the hip hop community, all right. But if you go into the mainstream is not in that community. They don't understand that, and that's the reality. If you go into the courts, into the arenas, they are the biggest. They are the biggest ones. So in a sense, it has to be that balance. You're right. That's why I said the team is supposed to have a P, and they're supposed to know this. They're supposed to pull these guys to the side. Look, be mindful of what you say, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it's tough on them. Don't get me wrong. But through time and as they grow, he will get media savvy. It's when they're like this that and it's amazing coming from a college that they didn't start him like that. Because if you go to Kentucky, Calipari makes sure, even if they're one and done, they get media relation training. They are trained that way. Now, I can't speak to LSU. I can't. I don't know what they do down there, but sometimes you can see who's had the training when they get to the pros. Like whatchamacallit from Duke, who went down to Orlando. You see he's media savvy. He's ready for it. So I get where you're going. You're right, and it's tough on them, and it takes away from their focus on the game. But that's also, you want to be in the big boy. You want to play big boy ball, yo, bro. That's what you got to deal with. You want that money? That's what you got to deal with. And yes, that's where we come into play, doing stuff like this, and then sharing it and talking and going to the younger generation and like I've been trying to do with kids who are in youth football, to give them a touch on media, so this way as they grow they become familiar with it. Because you're right, once they get into the pros, it's a dog battle out there, man. And if they're not ready, they're gonna go crazy. They're gonna get fined. Who wants to give up $40,000? I mean, even if you can afford it, who wants to give that up? That's money coming out of your pocket. And the Nets, if I was them, at minimum, they got to pull him to the side. Look, bro, this is what we're gonna do. Blah 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 blah. We're gonna make sure you have that with you. So this way, because when he's scoring like that, everybody want to hear what he got to say. And the no homo and no disrespect to anyone. I got family who's gay, and I respect them, and I got what you're saying. But when you say that in the mainstream, it is meant maliciously. Maybe not.
But again, to add to what you said, listening to the interview, Dinwiddie said, I'm glad I'm coming back to Brooklyn. I could bring the good looks back to Brooklyn. And Cam Thomas said, that's cap. Then he said what he got fined for, but we already got good looking guys here. And that's a 40,000 buckaroos. I mean, listen. All right, I get it. I understand.
We live in nowadays.
Right.
It says it, man. This is the world we live in. Can't joke anymore without it be taken out of context.
Exactly.
And you really can't. You know what I'm saying? I gotta watch what I say. We on a podcast, a radio show. You know what I'm saying? I gotta constantly watch myself because you Breezy know we from the same hood. We both grew up in the same neighborhood. Like we know this how we talk. You know what I'm saying? Like if me and him is in the back chat or something, you know, this is how we talk, you know, but you can't talk like that on media, unfortunately, because people they get butt hurt. Pause.
No, and you're right. It's for example, when I was in the union and I had to go in to speak to the president of Verizon, you know, it's a way that you articulate. Now, you know, people talk about I articulate well, but when I was with my people, you know, I let things slip, and you know, don't get me wrong, you know, y'all these NYG Jeff has heard me, yo, I got a greasy mouth, I got a foul mouth, you know, I'm a coach. But you know, when you go in, you have to, unfortunately, and that's the reality. Because when it comes to that money, you know, and that's the other thing is, you know, look, you got sponsors. You know, they don't want to be associated with that because now, you know, they're pulling their money and you know the teams, and that's why it's tough. It is tough for a young player like that who's learning. And that's where I strongly hope the Nets get him the support to give him that. And then we as a community, when we see young players, gifted, talented players, you know, even if you know them, yo, talk to them. You know, look, you know, when you start talking to the media, blah, 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 they're gonna be nervous. Let them be nervous, but be mindful of certain words. Like, you know, you can't use the N-word. We all know that. But a lot of kids, I'm telling you, a lot of these kids, they don't learn that right away in high school because that's part of their vernacular. So, and that's why it's like we have to do a better job as a whole. Because when you get to that big money, you don't want to see them young brothers lose that money. You know, you want them to keep that money. So, you know, I get you, Breezy. I'm with you, bro. But, you know, it's tough, you know, but it's the reality. That's what we dealing with.
So talk to me a little bit about the expectations you see for this Nets team moving forward in the second half of the season. And I know you do Knicks versus Nets, man. Shout out to that podcast as well, man. Y'all go sub up to that Who Run the City. So you can lump the Knicks in there too if you want to. But what's your second half expectation for the Nets? And if you want to talk about the Knicks too, you can.
Yeah, I think that. Thank you. I think that the Nets don't have a high ceiling for what KD and Kyrie did. I mean, they went to the second round. So I look at this team. If we get to the second round, it's a success. You know what I'm saying? Granted that this team got together in the second half of this, like trade deadline time. So it's only like 20 something games.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much. Right. I don't know how much chemistry and cohesiveness we could have between teammates with that amount of games. But I do expect them to not get swept in the first round and get past the first round. That is my expectations. And once we get to the second round, I'll be open to take this conversation further. But I definitely want to see us get to the second round first. And for the Knicks, I'm not surprised. I thought Jalen Brunson was a good pickup for them, and it shows. They looking real competitive out there. I still think they're the second best team in the city. Shout out to Coach. I ain't get to talk my shit. Not talk shit, but give credit to the Knicks for winning that game last time. I remember that was like 2 weeks ago, and when I came on, it was late, and I didn't get a chance to say shout to the coach. That's a Knicks fan, and they won that game. So I'm not ducking no smoke. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to pop shit the entire time before the game, and then I go ghost after we take a L. No, shout to y'all. Y'all got that one. I'm just coming clean. That's all I'm doing. So that being said, you know, we compete again on March 1st. And that shit is around the corner. I mean, I'm talking 2 weeks from now. You know what I'm saying? And I honestly think this is one of the most feasible years for the Nets and the Knicks to see each other in the playoffs. I think it's a big possibility that it occurs, and I do want to see it happen. I obviously want the Brooklyn Nets to win, but I think I do want to see it happen, though.
Of course, you would want to see it happen because first and foremost, that's good for New York City basketball. Period. Case closed. that and that brings light to New York City as a whole, and it invigorates, and then you can create a positive rivalry, not
Yeah.
a negative and a degrading and disrespectful type of. You want good rivalry because
When you play
and
a team in the playoffs, that creates rivalry. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
even during the
yeah.
regular season, you don't want one
Hmm.
team dominating. You want each team to be able to win, be able to compete, because it really enhances the
Yeah.
game itself. And then look, when it goes to your stadium is sold out. Then excuse me, I'm sorry. Half the quarter of the team maybe Knicks fans and all Brooklyn. Then it transfers over to the Garden, the same thing, and it energizes the city because then
Yeah,
more people get involved and want to see the game. And well, I will say this: when the Knicks and the Nets are going at it, and it's a good rivalry, that's good basketball for the NBA because then you'll start to see where the media will come in and everybody, you'll get all the top dignitaries and famous people coming out, whether it's in Brooklyn or what. That's good for the city. That's good for the NBA. And then the other teams in the league want to play both teams because then they know they're playing good competition. And that's good media. And then when they come to their stadium, they know their stadium is going to be sold out. Because look, when you got the Celtics coming, the stadium is going to be sold out. But if you got
Hmm.
Orlando coming, you might get sold out, or Detroit, you might get a sellout, or you might not. You might just get, three-fourths of your stadium. So it's the money behind it, it's the energy, the TV. Was it Jeff? He had said before that, look, y'all were primed to be on meet I think it was TNT, and y'all got bumped. You know,
right.
you don't want that. But when you're playing well, you're gonna be on TNT. You're gonna have Shaq and Barkley and Kenny talking about you, especially Kenny. Kenny wants New York basketball to be at the pinnacle, so he can sit
Hmm.
down and talk about New York, the Knicks, and he can talk about the Knicks because then he can throw at Shaq and Barkley. This is where basketball belongs, right in the city, because
Yeah,
it's
the
right in the
Mecca.
heart of the city. That's where it belongs. So
Yep.
so yeah, I mean, I'm loving it right now because yes, the narrative has changed. Yes, y'all was winning all those games, but now, and both teams can grow together because
Yeah,
neither
it
team has
does,
to
coach.
make
It feel like, you know what I'm saying? It feel like they both gonna be coming up at the same time. It's
exactly
kind of cool actually when you think about it. But let's let Jeff get in here. He been quiet over
most
there
definitely.
sitting, man. What's your expectations, Jeffy, man? Go ahead and get in there, man. I'll hit that like button, man.
Uh, well, I still think this team is good enough to be, around the middle of the pack team in the Eastern Conference. I mean, if Mikal Bridges that was just a small glimpse of what we can get from Mikal Bridges, then I think our offense might be in a little bit better shape than we thought. And don't forget about that other Cam. Don't forget about Cam Johnson. You guys talk about Cam
Yeah,
Thomas.
yeah,
Don't forget about Cam Johnson.
true
Mhm.
That's
that.
another kid you got to look out for. And also, the Nets have a big decision to make after the season with Cam Johnson. He's a restricted free agent. So the Nets got to
Mm,
figure out immediately what to do about him. And if he could be a player that plays a very important role for this team going down the stretch, they might have to pay that kid his money. Because you already said it earlier, MYG. Claxton and Bridges right now are both playing on team-friendly deals, and if they're
yeah.
going to probably want some more money if they keep evolving their games. And same thing with
Mhm.
Cam Thomas if he continues to play well. So I think Cam Johnson is another one of those X factor players the Nets are going to think about. And then obviously, I got to say it, Ben Simmons. I mean, as long as this guy's on the team, we gotta hope he gives us something because he's gonna play no matter what we like, no matter if we don't like it. The guy's gonna play because he's making the most money right now on the team, and he's going to play. So we gotta hope we get something from this guy for the end part of this season. But it all starts with they have to sweep Chicago and Atlanta. I don't even want to
Mhm.
split. We have got to beat both those teams because
Yeah,
both those teams
absolutely.
are in absolute turmoil right now. I mean, Atlanta just fired their coach, and Chicago lost Lonzo Ball for the season. He's done, and that team
Mm,
is not looking anything like we thought they would be.
Mhm.
at the beginning of the season. So the Nets have got to get off to a hot start. And that Knicks-Nets game is going to be pivotal for how these things are going to go on for the rest of the season. So
that's probably going to be one of the biggest Knicks versus Nets games, man. Like as far as playoff implications and just the magnitude of the game, that's going to be one of the biggest games, man, that they probably played in a couple seasons. Let me get to a couple comments before I let you finish your point. Breezy, if you're a Giants fans, please show up to Big Blue Crew broadcast next week. Lou's back from his vacation. Voice your enthusiasm, my friend, and don't forget always to say F all Phillies.
Hey. Why don't talk about my Phillies, man?
I'll be there for sure. I'll be there for sure.
And he also says, Big Boss Kenny, I'll be a few more days with my fam in Princeton, and I'll be going back to Europe, back to work, breaking some bones and making a living and paying the bills, boss. Salute to you, man. For real, man. Salute to you, man. Good luck too, though, man. Heal up, man, and get yourself back right, man. Look forward to seeing you back out there on the field.
It's the second day in a row I hear that clapping thing. Earl did it last night when I was doing the wrestling. you and Earl buy that at the same time, Coach?
Well, I actually bought a set thing, so I got the I even got the ones that go.
That don't sound right. It sounds like Ben Simmons on the basketball court. That's what that sounds like.
There you go. That's what it's
man.
Or Kenny Galladay on the football field. I can't tell which is worse.
Wait.
That's Kenny Galladay right there. Yeah. Hey, Kenny, I hope you enjoy the off season, Kenny. Thanks for the one touchdown against Philly, my friend. Adios, muchacho.
Hey,
yeah, he done.
Look, his contract allows us to pay for our rookies, so
that's right.
And I'm thankful for that. We ain't got to come up and scratch for money for that, as well as give us money to go into the season to play with. So,
yo, hold on. I want to ask y'all something. Is it fair to say that because of the Knicks and Nets are playing well in basketball, we have the most exciting city or state in basketball? When you got Houston, Dallas. You got Spurs, right? You got the California teams. There's 4 of them motherfuckers. So you got Golden State and the Clippers. But no, I would probably say the California, because they got Sacramento playing really well over there.
Nice right now.
No matter what you say,
the Lakers is dragging them down.
The Clippers are going to be good.
Even though the Lakers are dragging them
and
down,
Kings are good.
Lakers may drag them down, but in terms of excitement, enthusiasm, people always show up to see them, man.
I mean, it from an exciting standpoint, but I agree with Breezy from a basketball standpoint. I mean, there's an argument to be made.
Coach,
you might be one of the most exciting cities.
Huh?
Coach, you just put in the what do you call it? The private chat. Is this true? The last thing you put in there?
The Ron Payne.
They're stupid. They are stupid if they do that. They are dumb as hell if they do that.
No, that's from the Athletic. That's from the Athletic. I'm sorry. Yeah. So if it's from the Athletic, I say it's true. So hey, let them do that, man. Let them do that.
You know how much they're paying at the defensive tackle position? They'd be paying
$18.5 million.
And they extended Jonathan Allen last year. I know we're talking basketball, but I just saw that. I'm like, are they really that stupid, Washington? All right.
Hey, like I said, so from the Athletic, so to me it's credible. That's why I put it in there. And I saw the headline. I was like, oh, okay.
That's good, man. That's good for us, man.
Trade them.
That's good, man.
So
that's good.
And it's going to cause problems for them when it comes to even though they said that they don't know what they're going to do if they're going to pick up his 5th year, but hey, that's going to cause issues with what's his name.
Montez Sweat and Chase Young. They're not picking up. It sounds like they're not picking up Chase Young's 5th-year option.
Exactly.
That means Sweat and Young would be free agents the same year.
Oh my God.
And Payne.
Exactly. That's the whole point. And they're going to be in turmoil. So that's why that offense has to really pick it up. That's why Bieniemy is on. He has a lot of pressure.
Oh boy, yeah.
So, enough about
I feel
that.
bad for Eric B, man. I don't know if that was a good move for him, but we'll see. Yeah. We'll see how it works out, man. But let's wrap up this let's wrap up the basketball conversation. Tudo, got a message for you, Coach.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I let something get in my head, so I didn't get the safeties, but I got them. I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna give y'all a little tease, okay? I'm only gonna give you my top four in terms of no. I'm gonna give you my bottom five in terms of the safeties um, coming out. I got number 10, Ronnie Hickman. Number 7, Ronnie Hickman from Ohio State. Number 9, J.L. Skinner from Boise State. Number 8, Jamie Robinson from Florida State. Number 7, Jair Brown from Penn State. And number 6, Brandon Joseph from Notre Dame. And my little diamond in the rough, I'm going to really watch him, is J.L. Skinner from Boise State. Kid is 6'4", 210 pounds, but he can roam that field. And, there's some things he needs to work on to improve, but don't be surprised if he turns out to be like whatchamacallit in Seattle, but just from the safety position. I'm just saying.
Earl Thomas?
No, whatchamacallit, their cornerback that they got from UTSA.
Okay, now, okay.
Woolen, Tyreek Woolen?
Yeah, Tyreek Woolen. Don't be surprised if he shows out. I want to see what he's doing next week at the Combine. That's really what I'm looking for. Because if he blows up, I might change and I might move him up my rankings. Because when I looked at the film on him, I was like, wow. Now it is Boise State, so you may want to question the level of competition. But when you're out there on the field flying around, that don't lie. That doesn't lie. So, but again, that's my bottom 6. I'm not gonna give you my top. You're gonna have to tune in to get the top 5.
Okay. All right.
Keep that tease alive, Coach. But
good stuff, man. But go ahead, Jeff.
I gotta recapture my thought. But
expectations, man. For the Knicks and Nets, man. Moving forward. And then I'm gonna give mine, and then we're gonna talk about this Jets team.
Well, in terms of I'll start with the Knicks first. I mean, the Knicks. A lot of it's going to hinge on R.J. Barrett. If R.J. Barrett could start turning the corner for these last 26, 27 games of the season, the Knicks could be in a position where they could sneak in at that 5th or possibly even 4th seed because R.J. Barrett has the potential to be close to a 20-point scorer a game. He's just got to be more consistent on a basis for the team. It's just a question of, because of how well Josh Hart and Jalen Brunson seem to be playing as teammates together, obviously reuniting as the former Villanova teammates. Is R.J. Barrett going to be a starter, or are they going to maybe think about moving him as the 6th man off the bench? So you got to think about that. So R.J. Barrett to me is the biggest, difference maker on what the Knicks are going to do the rest of the season. Brunson will be fine. Randall will be fine. They'll get their contributions from Grimes and Quickly and maybe Toppin and, Hartenstein, Robinson coming back. They'll get those guys doing their thing. But Barrett's the key. For the Nets, I know the Nets are deep. The Nets are deep right now. But we know as the closer we get to the playoffs, that rotation is going to start going down and down and down. You're going to not see 11, 12 guys playing a night. Yeah. You're going to start seeing 10, 9, maybe 8 or 9 players playing per night the closer we get to the playoffs. So I'm curious to see how Jacques Vaughn is going to start rounding out that rotation. I'm assuming 6 of them are definitely going to be, Spencer Dinwiddie, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Mikal Bridges, Nicholas Claxton. Cam Thomas will probably play too. I guess Ben Simmons. What are you going to do with Joe Harris? What are you going to do with Seth Curry?
Ben Simmons.
He's going to play. I don't want him to, but he's going to play. It's just, the fact they're not going to sit him. I know.
Oh, man.
But, how are they going to cut down this rotation, and who's going to be able to play on a consistent basis? That's what I'm looking for with the Nets going on this season. Beat the teams you're competing for. Beat the teams you're competing with right now or teams below you in the Eastern Conference if you want to be around that 4th, 5th, 6th seed in the East.
Okay. I think I could see, just for the expectations, I definitely expect the Knicks and the Nets both to make the playoffs. I mean, obviously. As far as seeding is concerned, I think I really do think that the Knicks could possibly jump us.
I agree.
And
I agree.
I don't want to cap at all. You know what I'm saying? I really believe this just because I think this team could be being on a good little streak here. You know what I'm saying? The Knicks have had some chemistry. I've watched Knicks games, man. They just been inconsistent with it. You know what I'm saying? But now moving on, and you know, getting Josh Hart in the lineup, man, is definitely something, man, that like the article said we read earlier, man, from NBA.com, somebody that can help you close games. You know what I'm saying? And so I think them being able to close games now is going to be the biggest difference between the Knicks and the Nets. I do not feel the Nets confidently can close out games. They should be able to beat the Hawks. They should beat the Hawks, should beat the Bulls. I absolutely expect them to beat the teams they're supposed to beat. The problem is they got a little bit of a stretch here. Let me see if I could pull up the actual schedule here, because
Knicks getting Mitchell Robinson back is a huge get too. Coach knows that guy on defense. He's a major difference maker. He's their Nicholas Claxton. He will make a major difference on that defense.
So they got the Bulls, they got the Hawks Sunday, got the Bulls Friday, Hawks Sunday, and then Milwaukee. I don't expect them to win that one. And then the Knicks. That's going to be the big game. The Celtics after that. That's probably
go back to the Milwaukee game real quick. Is Giannis going to play? Because remember, we don't know how long Giannis might be out. So Giannis might not even play that game.
It's next Tuesday, so
I don't know if Giannis is going to play. Yeah, he might be out for a couple of weeks with that.
Yeah, if he's out, then they at least got a pretty good shot in that game. But then they play him again. Then they play him again on the 9th, and he'll probably be back for that one.
Now you said you questioned about Boston, but remember the Knicks already beat Boston in Boston.
This is the Nets schedule, Coach.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, you guys match up better with the Boston than we did.
I'm going through the Nets schedule because I don't know if they can hold this this fifth spot down, and I think the Knicks may jump them. I don't see them going out of below 6. I think that's where the Nets will probably end up at, is the 6th seed, and I see because I'm just looking at the schedule. It is tough. They got the Nuggets. They got the Bucks twice. They got the Celtics. They got the Nuggets twice. They got the Cavs twice. Sixers, Jazz, Timberwolves, Heat, Kings. Yeah.
If you want to be a playoff team and you want to get a good seed, go out and beat these teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Absolutely, man. Absolutely agree with that, man. Beat who's on your schedule, man. But just from expectation standpoint, I think I do see the Knicks getting to 5 and the Nets getting to 6. So I think that's where they end up at.
What's the Knicks schedule for the rest of the season?
6. Let me pull that up real quick.
Because they said that theirs is very difficult too, so we don't know if the Knicks might struggle down the stretch too. So
that's true.
They will. I think there's going to be ups and downs because there's Tibbs. That to me, that's always my X factor.
Well, they got the Wizards, they got the Pelicans. You should beat them 2 teams. Then they got the Celtics, and then the Nets, and then the Heat, and then the Celtics again. Then they got the Hornets, the Kings, Clippers, Lakers. That's a little road trip. That can always be tough. Blazers, and then they come back for the Nuggets, Timberwolves, Heat again. So they got the Heat twice. That's going to play a factor in seeding. They have the Cavs.
Where are they playing the Cavs at?
Wait a minute. They got the Heat 3 times. Oh, my God.
I don't think they played the Heat this year.
Yeah, they got them on the 3rd. Yeah, they got them on the 22nd, and they got them on the 29th. So that's going to be one of the keys right there. How y'all matchup against the Heat.
Well, 90s basketball revisited. New York
Yeah,
Knicks and
man,
Miami
that's
He
gonna
Heat.
signed
be
Kevin Love, so Kevin Love. That's a
gonna be.
question on who can stick
Mm,
him when he's stretching and he's shooting them threes.
Mitch.
mm-hmm,
Mitch.
mm.
As a center, I don't trust Mitch going out there to. He can block in the corner, yes, but when Kevin Love can hit from the top of the keys and the elbow, and Mitchell is not good on the closing out there. So
This
you
is
need
gonna be
him to,
Randall.
and that's my concern.
Mhm.
Now if you were telling me Sims was out there, with Mitchell, all right, but then we lose slow post scoring. But defensively, then I'm cool with that. Sims can play that, but this is. Go ahead, finish looking at the schedule. I'm
Yes,
sorry.
my bad.
Yeah, nah. You good. That was it. I could show it
That
to
West
y'all real
Coast
quick.
trip, that West Coast trip concerns me. Then
That
Mm,
Clippers team is good.
that
You
Clippers,
saw what they picked
even
up at the trade
Portland,
deadline. Yeah.
I mean, Dame when he gets going, he
Hmm.
gets going.
so this is their
Yeah.
schedule. Can y'all see that?
I don't know how you
Okay.
guys feel, but I think that Clippers team could be a sleeper to win the Western Conference with the additions they made with Eric
That's a good point.
Gordon, with
Yeah.
Bones Highland, obviously getting Westbrook, who we know what he could do, and then also getting Mason Plumlee. I think that team could be a sleeper to come out of the West. So just be like
The
on the lookout for
Clippers?
the Clippers. Oh yeah. Oh my,
Mm-hmm.
they're deep now. They have players on that team. If
Tell
Kawhi
me
and
this.
shoot,
When is this Denver Nuggets team gonna do anything?
this is the
Because
year. This is the year. They
it's
have
like
to.
Jokic got two, almost going coming on the third one, possibly MVP,
Mhm.
and this
Mm-hmm.
team hasn't even got to the finals yet.
Well, I will say this: they were missing their point guard Jamal Murray for a year. When you
Mm-hmm.
remember he tore his ACL, that's one of
Yeah,
their best players that was out, and
that's true.
they did trade for Aaron Gordon last year, so
Mm-hmm.
he wasn't the type of player he was looking for. Plus, they were missing Michael Porter Jr., who was out with injury
Mm-hmm.
too. So that's a
Okay.
couple of those guys that they're getting back that are they're starting to regather that chemistry. And that talent on that team is starting to really show itself. Press. Remember, they have our guy Bruce Brown over there too, as one of their key players off the bench.
True.
So that's a really good collection of talent now that are all healthy. And Jamal Murray being back and healthy is a major X factor for that team while the number one seed in the West.
March is a killer. March is a killer for
Um,
the Knicks, man.
Yeah.
Even
yeah,
to close out the.
this is tough. This
This is
is
tough. I
tough right here.
mean, the Wizard. We're playing at Washington, and then that's not a gimme. And Porzingis is going to love that if he's playing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Bradley Beal. So I mean, the
And
Pelicans have been
Kuzma.
and Kuzma. The
This
Pelicans.
four game stretch, well, really 6 game stretch right here is
Yeah,
huge
up until
too.
the Hornets game, that's going to be
Yeah,
big.
that little
That's
stretch
going to
right
be
there, those
big.
4 games,
And then you
and
go out west for 4 games with
then you go out west,
all
yeah.
teams that are playoff contenders, if not
Mm-hmm.
already in the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs. Then you
Clippers,
come home
Lakers,
to the
Blazers.
Nuggets and the
Mm-hmm.
Timberwolves. It's
Mm-hmm.
like they
You
don't
got
have
the Heat.
the Heat. Even
Yeah.
the Magic down in Orlando, they always seem to have problems under Tibbs down in Orlando.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was in
it's
Cleveland.
and
Yeah.
and that this
That's
March
going to be a big game because remember, Cleveland is 4. So
Yeah.
exactly.
if the Knicks want to get up to 4, they definitely got to take care of business against the Cavs in this game right here.
So I
As do
mean.
we. As do we if
Yeah,
we want to get up to
So
absolutely.
yeah,
four.
Absolutely.
it's gonna be tough. March is right now, no matter what. I mean, yeah, these next 3 games in February, but March is gonna really be the season for the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gonna be the season, and for me, they can't even split, man. They have to win at least 60% of these games.
Yeah.
To really at least stay in the 6th spot.
2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22 games left. So, what do you think the record's got to be, Coach, out of those 22
Oh, out of
games?
all the 22 games,
Mm-hmm. You see in the
they
schedule.
they got to win
15 and
about
7.
75% of those games, man.
Mm,
Like around 15 and 7, you'd say?
22. Let me see. Yeah, so 22 times 0.75.
15-7, 14-8, around that range.
Mm-hmm.
They'd have to win probably 13 to 15 of their next 22 games to really be in a good position to secure like that fifth, sixth, seventh seed in the East.
Mm.
And I'd say the same thing about the Nets,
16, 17 games. Yes, about 17 games.
Definitely.
17 games will at least definitely get them into the playoffs, and I think they'll get them in the fifth spot. So, if you say 17 and 5, and that's pushing it, bro.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's pushing it. So now Atlanta helps, but still, I mean, the teams that are behind them, Washington is right there, Miami, like we just talked about.
Mm-hmm. Washington is 9th. You got Miami at 7th. Got Atlanta in there.
I think
but we all agree they're probably going to drop down.
Yeah,
Chicago and Indiana and Orlando.
Indiana's tricky. Indiana is a tricky
they're
team.
all on the outside looking in. They're still they're still in reach of the play-in game. All three of those teams. So depending on what happens to Atlanta and Toronto, you could see. I don't see the Bulls getting in there. Maybe the Pacers.
Toronto's getting healthy now. They are starting to get healthy. I just saw a report that OG Anunoby, Gary Trent, those guys are going to be back to play. So watch that Raptors team.
They're going to play confidently because nobody got traded. So that's
exactly
saying that they believe.
They got better too. They got that Jakob Poeltl kid at the center position, so they even got better than they were before.
Yeah.
So it's going to be
the
tough.
Nets are only 2.5 out of the Cavs right now, and the Knicks are 2 games outside of the Nets right now. So if you put that together, the 2 and the 2, that's 4.5.
Well, it'd be 3 right now since we beat them twice. So right now we have the advantage. So really, in reality, it's 3 games that they're behind us because we have.
Well, it's 4.5 it's 4.5 for the Knicks, and it's only 2.5 for us.
Yeah,
because we So you could say 2 since we beat them. So but that's what it's looking like right now. So
I love it.
Don't see him catching Philly or any of these top 3 teams, but the 4, 5, 6, and 7, that's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I'll ask you this right now. I'll ask you this, and for the chat, would you have it any other way? Because I wouldn't. I'd rather go like this. I'd rather be tested. I'd rather see this team, both teams,
and it's good for this team.
I love it.
Good for this. It's good for this young team to get that experience. They're gonna be in the playoffs. They're gonna get playoff experience. It's gonna be good for this team. Win, lose, or draw, it's gonna be good for this team to get into the playoffs. Boost teams. That confidence, of course, and really, what I'm saying, try to bring basketball back to this city, man, because we definitely need our teams to be at least relevant and competitive. This is heart of the city, man. Basketball, man, is definitely a big part of that, man. Some could say the biggest part of it, just from a New York standpoint, because we all grew up playing basketball in the city. Yep. So that's always a sport that always hits home with a lot of New Yorkers. But let's keep it moving. We 2 hours in. Y'all hit that like button. I'm gonna play a short commercial for the sponsor, and then we're gonna talk about the quarterback situation for the Jets. But let me play the commercial, and we'll be right back.
Having credit issues? Tired of getting denied for a car, a loan, or a house? Let Wise Consulting Solutions help you improve your scores and get you back on track. Sign up and schedule a free consultation and credit analysis today. All
right. Appreciate that from Wise Consulting Solutions. Get your credit straight, man. Get your credit right, ladies and gentlemen. It's very important. Achieve your dreams. Get that house, get that car, start you a business. Get your stuff together. It's not as hard as you think. Trust me, I did it, and I was very, very surprised.
By the way, MRG, has she recovered yet from the Eagles Super Bowl loss yet, or she's all good now?
Yeah, she's over it.
Okay.
Yeah, she's over it.
Didn't know if she needed that 1 week grace period since Eagles fans are a little, they're still trying to get over that loss.
Yeah, she's not as dialed in or as wacky, I would say, as a lot of these other fans. They flipping cards and shit.
Throwing stuff at televisions and going buck
Yeah,
wild.
it don't get that serious over here. Me either. You know what I'm saying? We don't get that. We don't get that crazy. You know me though. I like to talk shit. It's just how I am. But she don't talk as much shit as me. But I'm gonna talk my shit. That's what I do.
I know. Oh, we of course you are. That's what we want you to
do. But okay, man. Yeah, Jets, man. We're gonna do Jets, and then we'll get into some light spring training stuff. Then we'll wrap it up. Jets, man. Here we are. Derek Carr visited the Jets over the weekend.
I got a funny quote for this one. I got a funny quote for what I heard.
Reports coming out that it was a good meeting. There is mutual interest in the Jets with Carr. I think his brother came out and said some things. David Carr, about the Jets and how the meeting was good and everything's all gravy over there. But Derek Carr, man, Jets is acting like this guy is gonna like come in and he could. I don't know, man. Let me not judge, but I mean, Derek Carr, is he gonna be the savior for the New York Jets? I have to question that, to be honest with you. Because he had a good team. He had a good team with the Raiders. They went out and got Devontae Adams and Josh McDaniels and all this other stuff for this dude, man, but they still wasn't good. And I don't know if the Jets was any better, with no quarterback. So I don't know what difference that Derek Carr is going to make, but apparently there's people saying he can lead this team to a championship. So the thing about it is they still want to talk to Rodgers. They waiting for him to come out his dark room so they could speak with him and see if he wants to come to New York, man. Save yourself the trouble, Jets and Jets fans, man. Let that dude go somewhere else, man. We don't need that dude in New York, man. You don't need him. New York doesn't need him. And I don't think he's gonna put your team over the top. But Derek Carr, man. So I guess that's the target, man. So what are your thoughts on Derek Carr, fellas? And do you think he can take the Jets to the promised land? Because that is the talk. Shifting through Twitter.
Well, I don't know if you saw this funny article, but the Jets apparently believe that Derek Carr has Hall of Fame potential.
Oh gosh!
Really? I wish I was joking on this one, but I am actually dead serious, and I will put it in the private chat.
I did see where they said he could make a championship.
Even better. First ballot Hall of Fame potential.
First ballot, really?
I look at the article I just threw in there. I really wish I was joking on this one, but when I saw the article, I almost fell over laughing. And I like Derek Carr.
Report too. Okay,
yeah, this is.
He could be first ballot Hall if he wins in New York. Where are you getting that from?
I don't know. At 32 years old, I don't know where they're thinking, but can Derek Carr win a championship? I will say this. The Jets are extremely talented. They are. And I really believe that the one thing that held this team back, besides the injuries, unfortunately, to Breece Hall and to Elijah Vera Tucker, which hurt their offense, I believe that this team has the talent where they could be a big-time force in the AFC and for the NFL overall if they get themselves a quarterback. And I think Derek Carr is still a good quarterback in the league. I really do. I think that I think people really just, crap on him, thinking he's just a garbage quarterback. He's not that good.
Yeah, he's not garbage at all.
He's
good.
a solid quarterback.
He's a decent guy, man. But
yeah,
I don't know. You think if you think he gonna elevate the team, and he couldn't do that despite putting up numbers. He's a numbers guy, you see. And
did you see the offensive line he was working behind though? That doesn't help either. But the offensive line he had was terrible.
And that's on the Raiders. You know what I'm saying? But he's been there. How long's Derek Carr been in this league? He's played his whole career with the Raiders.
A long time, yeah.
Yeah, he's been here a while. And he just hasn't moved the needle for me. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if he's gonna do that with it now. I could see him coming in here and putting up similar numbers to what he put up in with Vegas, but is that gonna equate to winning? And it seems like guys like him and some of these other guys, Kirk Cousins is another one. I mean, they put up very good numbers, good stats. If you just look at the numbers on paper, yeah, you might think this dude is a that type of quarterback, man, but he does not win. The same report that you said, he has a 63-79 record as a starter. And Carr completed 68.4% of his passes for 4,804 yards, 23 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. And 2021 completed 60% of his passes, over 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions this past season. So, I mean, he pretty much plays the same. He's going to give you about 20-something touchdowns and about 14 picks. So is that going to take you over the top? I mean, because remember, it's all about stats, right? Oh, the stats.
Oh, yeah, well.
How many touchdowns? Daniel Jones only threw for 15 touchdowns. Oh, no. The stats.
Do you think he could be a good game manager? Do you think he could be a good game manager with the talent on that Jets offense? You put it around a good offensive line. You sign Derek Carr. You put him behind, you go out there, you get some offensive linemen for him. You have Garrett Wilson in his second year. You got Elijah Moore. You're probably going to go out there and get another receiver to replace Corey Davis. You have a good tight end group. You still have some other good running backs. I mean, essentially, all he has to do is not screw it up.
He's going to work well with Nathaniel Can't Hackett. That's one of the questions I have.
That's the thing right there. Is he a guy that's going to fit in the Hackett system?
Right.
Can he fit in the Hackett system? That's the thing.
Dude couldn't do it with freaking Russ, who is a Hall of Famer.
It's a different story, though, with as a head coach compared to an offensive coordinator, though. Your responsibilities are not as high.
I understand, but if you're an offensive-minded head coach and your offense stinks, yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, okay, yeah, let's go back to the drawing board, man. But you couldn't make it work with Russell Wilson. This is why I don't like the Jets, man. I don't dislike the Jets. I don't like how they run shit. You know what I'm saying? Why bring that dude in here? Why bring him in here? And then now you chasing the veteran quarterback market. You know what I'm saying? With a dude that could not make it work with Russell freaking Wilson.
Okay.
And made him look like hot garbage. And you cannot convince me that Russell Wilson forgot how to play football.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man.
All right, I got a question for you. I got a question for you guys and for the chat. You have 5 quarterbacks. I'll give you 5 quarterbacks right now that could be the starting quarterbacks for the New York Jets. Ryan Tannehill, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
You got Derek Carr. God forbid if they bring back Mike White, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but Zach Wilson. Out of those 5, name an order who you think is going to be most likely to be the Jets quarterback in 2023, because I think those are the 5 that might be are the most likely to be the quarterback in 2023.
If I'm picking an order, it's probably Carr.
Okay.
Rodgers.
Tannehill.
Other one.
Tannehill, White, and Wilson.
And then White and Wilson. Yeah, there's no way they bringing back Zach Wilson to be a starter. He might still be on a roster. They probably don't have a choice. But he is no way in hell you can go into the next season with him as your starting quarterback, or Mike White for that matter. So it's gonna have to be one of those dudes. I don't like the offensive coordinator, and I don't like the and think about it, man. Josh McDaniels, I mean, he didn't really elevate Derek Carr. I mean, Derek Carr is gonna give you what he's gonna give you. Can he be a game manager? Absolutely. Can he win the Jets more than 7 games? I don't know.
I say yes. I say yes. If Mike White and Zach Wilson, for as bad as they were and inconsistent as they were, could get that team in position to potentially make the playoffs, Derek Carr is an upgrade. He will put that team in better position. I mean, let's just be honest. He's a better quarterback than either Mike White or Zach Wilson.
Absolutely. I ain't going to disrespect him. Yeah, I ain't going to disrespect him like that.
He will get that team more wins. Yeah. All he has to do is not turn the football over on a consistent basis and pretty much be not really a game manager, but just put the ball into place for your playmakers to go out there and make plays. And the Jets will be a better team because the talent alone will put them over the top.
Okay. Coach, what you think about this situation, man? With the Jets and the quarterback carousel, as they call it.
Carr is definitely a Hall of Fame quarterback with the Jets.
Oh, stop it, Coach. Oh, that's so bad. That's so bad.
All right, all jokes aside.
That was a good one, by the way.
No doubt.
I'm going to say this, okay? If I'm the Jets, I'm not even looking at Rodgers, and I'm not looking at Carr first. I am calling Baltimore, and I am saying about Lamar Jackson.
That's what I've been saying. Yeah,
that's where Coach. I'm going. And you know, I understand he wants fully guaranteed. You talk to him, you see what you can do, but yes, you trade for him. You know, now if Woody Johnson is saying he's going to give up 2 first-round draft picks for Aaron Rodgers,
right?
A 38, almost 40-year-old quarterback who may only be there for a year. He may be only there for a year and then want out after that, but 2 years tops, and then he's gone. So you're going to give up 2 first-round draft picks? Then aren't you willing to give up 3 for Lamar Jackson, who is younger, more dynamic, who probably would fit better with these young pieces? He could help with any issues with your offensive line because he can break that pocket, and he actually would help make your offensive linemen better blockers because the defensive linemen will have to play a particular way. So I'm going after Lamar Jackson first. Now, if you want to wait for Mr. Shit in the Hole, then fine, no problem. Now, if you can get him for the 2 first-round draft picks, all right. But why would you do that? Because now you're taking away assets when you have a guy who's a free agent that you don't have to give up any assets for. You could get him, sign him, and then you could take that first-round draft pick and help your offensive line at that to secure it even more, along with Vera Tucker, who's coming back, and all the other injuries that you guys who were injured on the offensive line. Like Jeff is saying, they have talent. Can Derek Carr win with them? Yes. Does he have? He can't turn it over. I'm not going to say be a game manager, but be a veteran NFL quarterback who has some talent, who is somewhat good. Is he top 10? I don't know. He's maybe pushing it, but you know, he's in that top 15 to 10, top 15 to 11. Let's say that. So you sign him, and then you keep it moving. Aaron Rodgers, you don't even know what he's going to do. You don't know if he's going to retire. And
he was such a wild card, man.
Now, the thing that, like some people say, Derek Carr holds the cards. I disagree with that because the only team, honestly, that he has talked to, other than the Jets, is the Saints. He knows Vegas, but show me what other team that he has talked to. That's quarterback me. He hasn't talked to Carolina. And the other ones, if you're talking about the Colts and Detroit, I'm not Detroit, Chicago. Chicago doesn't even need a quarterback. I'm sorry. The Texans, they're already in the top half. They're going to draft one of the rookie quarterbacks.
Oh, but Chicago's supposed to be trading Justin Fields and taking Bryce Young, right?
That's
Isn't that the smart move to do? No, let Twitter tell it. Isn't that the smart move to do?
But okay, fine, whatever.
And guess who should trade for Justin Fields? You guessed
Giants.
it, the New York Giants. Get the fuck out of here, man.
I'm gonna stay right where I'm talking about. As far as the Jets, the point being is Derek Carr does not hold the cards. The Jets do. Because right now, yeah, he could say I'm taking my time. His brother could say, well, my brother is taking his time to weigh and see. No, what he's doing, he's waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do, because a lot of these dumb fucks are waiting on him to come out of the crap hole and make a decision. I'm not even looking at him.
Watch you go back to the Packers.
And exactly, either go to the Packers, want to go to the Raiders, or retire. So.
Go to Jeopardy.
I don't think he's going to another team. I really don't.
I really don't either. And all these teams are being a fool. You're waiting up. You're holding up your business. You know what? You got Derek Carr. It went well. You know what? What's the money going to look like? Now I understand he's going to want what he had at least what he had with Vegas, which was what, 40 mil that he got cut for. So, will the Jets be able to afford that? That's another story. But the bottom line is, realistically, David Carr, you can't dictate, because all right, if you want to go and get 40 mil, then go down to the Saints if they're going to give it to you, and be down there because they're going to end up probably letting Thomas go, and they're probably going to trade what's his name?
Mets, man.
So what are you going to do? Yeah, you have Chris Olave down there, but realistically, you're not going to win down there. So if you want your money, go there, get your money, whatever. But if you really want to compete and win championships along with getting some semblance of money, I'm trying to push for the Jets. And as for the Jets, stop being stupid. You got the man right there right now. Go ahead, settle it, move on. Aaron Rodgers comes out of the crapper, whatever. He's not.
The Jets report is that the report is Derek Carr wants to get something done before free agency so he can help recruit other players from other teams to come play with him.
Well, that's check out what I put in the private chat. The latest one.
Okay.
I don't know if it makes sense at all, but I saw it and it looked kind of funny on Bleacher Report. The last one I put out there.
Wait a minute. You put a Twitter one from Jay Musa?
Yeah. It was like some type of something involving Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, he's a hidden Trojan.
Yeah.
You like what you see? He's a hidden Trojan.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, hey, if that's what you want, fine, go for it, Jets. But realistically, like you always say, NYG, that's the Jets being the Jets.
Yeah,
I'll screw it up.
If it's me, the first thing I would have done is I'm telling you, I'm calling Baltimore. If Baltimore is not willing to do it, then fine. Then you move on and you just keep it moving. Like you tried, you did what you're supposed to, what you could do, and then you just keep it moving. I would want Lamar first and foremost. Then I would go Derek Carr. Rodgers is a pipe dream for me, but he's 38 years old. He's not worth it. And even if he plays and says, I want another contract after that, are you really going to give him that kind of money?
I'm with you, Coach. I want Lamar Jackson. And like, I want him to come to the Jets. And I'm not even a Jets fan, but I just want that for the Jets. I want that for New York. Like, I want them to do something that makes sense for the franchise for once. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself on par with the Buffalo Bills. Put yourself on par with a team maybe even like the Chargers or the Dolphins or whoever else, man. Like, get in those conversations to where you're our perennial playoff team competing for a Super Bowl. Now, if you get Lamar Jackson, now we could talk Super Bowl. Yeah. Now you're a contender to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, with Derek Carr, I see it being the same old Jets. I see them as a teetering team, like they were. Maybe they sneak into the back end of the playoffs. I could see that. I ain't going front. But look, man, put yourself in those conversations. You can do that with the roster you got that we all said, and by just going and getting Lamar Jackson. You can do that. You can do that. If you're willing to, like you said, Coach, if you're willing to give up picks for Aaron Rodgers, you should definitely be willing to give up picks for Lamar Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
I don't know what it is, but it's just like you said. It's a Jetsy thing to do. Let's settle for. What we can settle for now financially and from a standpoint, if Lamar Jackson, if that option is not available, which it may not be, okay, take Derek Carr and see what you could do. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you shorten the commitment, and maybe you revisit this situation again in a year or two, but yeah, man, I definitely think, man, if you want to be a perennial contender with the young talent you got, Lamar Jackson is a young quarterback. How old is Lamar Jackson? 27?
27, 28.
Yeah, I mean, man, you got that dude for the next 10 years.
Are you worried about Lamar Jackson, though, with his injury issues lately? I'm sorry, he's only 26.
I'm worried about all these quarterbacks with the injuries, man. Look at Pat Mahomes hobbling around. He Pat Mahomes, though. You know what I'm saying? But he was hobbling around in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts was hobbling around, towards the end of the season. So, yeah, these guys get hurt nowadays, man. It's a different era. You know what I'm saying? What you do is, if you smart, you go get insurance. Like the Giants figured out. That's why they got Tyrod Taylor. That's why they're looking at Hendon Hooker. Because if you're going to sign a quarterback like Daniel Jones, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, you need a valuable backup.
What are you talking about? They got the Pro Bowler Tyron Huntley right behind them. Come on. That's your insurance right there. They got the Pro Bowler. Come on, man.
Yeah, he about to be a Pro Bowl starter.
Yeah, I mean, come on. 3 touchdowns a season, named to the Pro Bowl. You can't ask for anything more like that. You got 2 Pro Bowl quarterbacks. They're set.
Oh, he's not even seeing this Jet touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, you saw it? Yeah, you saw. Coach, you'll like that one. I had to throw it in there just for the fun of it. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had to throw it in there. It's just funny.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's good shit, man. Yeah. But yeah, man. The Jets, man. Just man. Just go get Lamar, man. Like just do it, man. Like fuck, man. You guys are like be relevant, man. Be you know what I'm saying? Be something for once. You know what I mean? Like
they are something. They're the ass of the city.
Yeah, man. They gonna go to the same thing. Gonna sign Derek Carr to a contract, and then we're gonna see the same old team.
The question is, because right now I would take Derek Carr over their quarterbacks they had last year.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you don't have a choice, yeah.
And I think that can get them 10 wins.
Yeah, I think they'll be a playoff team with Derek Carr.
I thought
there was going to be a playoff team this year. Well, not playoffs, but I did predict them to win 7 games, so I could definitely see them, jumping up to the 9-10 range with Derek Carr. We got to look at their schedule and everything and see what they do in the offseason. But, yeah, if they save that first-round pick and they just go and boost the offensive line, maybe take one of them tackles with number 13, then, yeah, why not? You know what I'm saying?
It would be good on that team.
That would be smart. That would be prudent business to do that, go that route, as opposed
I just think if you want long-term competition, I think you go get a guy like Lamar Jackson and let him be your guy for the next 8-10 years, and maybe he doesn't last 10 years, maybe you get 8 out of him. It's still good money. You know what I'm saying? If he can get you in a Super Bowl or win a Super Bowl or something like that, you know what I'm saying? So
exactly.
it'll be worth it. You know what I mean? Derek Carr is not getting you to a Super Bowl. I'm sorry, but it's my opinion, unpopular as it may be.
No, that's about right. Derek Carr is the one that like I said, it's Lamar. I'm reaching out and seeing what I can do. What does it take? Now you
And they're gonna trade him, coach. That's by all reports. It's like these are strong.
Sounds like it's over. Yeah.
That
exactly.
the plan is to sign him and trade him.
Exactly. So if that's what you can do,
or tag and trade him.
You trade him. Now, if you tag him, that's 2 first-round draft picks. That's what they're telling me. They'll take 2 first-round draft picks for him. Done deal.
Done deal. Absolutely.
I mean, there's no ifs, ands, but now the money with Lamar, that's the other issue. I get it. He wants to be fully guaranteed. But see, the question is the fully guaranteed. That's the only thing.
He ain't gonna get it.
Exactly.
He knows that. He ain't gonna get it. Ain't no quarterback gonna get that shit.
So only Cleveland was the only one that did it, and look how the owners are feeling. They don't like that. They don't want that to happen. So so if I'm the Jets, like I said, it's Lamar. Then I'll go to David Carr if that's the case. Rodgers, I'm like, only as a last resort if I don't have anything else, and they're willing to trade him. Do I think they're going to trade him? No, I don't. I mean, why would he go anywhere else? To be honest with you, why would you go to the Jets? You have the same thing that you have right there in Green Bay. Young receivers. Okay, maybe you don't have a Garrett Wilson. You have a good running game. You have good defense.
Change of scenery, coach. Maybe he's not really getting along well with the LaFleur over there.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, change of scenery could be a big thing, but the grass ain't always greener on the other side.
Right, and it's always like he ain't getting along with somebody. That dude's just I don't like it. I'm
He's
sorry.
He's in the dark room.
Asshole, man.
He's in the dark room, man.
But how here's the big thing, though. Seriously, you can say he's quirky and he should be all right, but honestly, do you think he can handle the storm, the media, the criticism that he would get in New York from the fans,
absolutely not.
From talk radio?
That dude will probably retire mid-season.
Yeah,
he'd probably be like, I'm retiring.
And the thing with
the Jets high and dry.
The thing with him is he wants to prove that he's the smartest man in the room, and he thinks he is. And you know what? When you really try to do that, you really are not the smartest man in the room. When you really try to do that,
let's just be real too.
Something for a quarterback, man, that has all the talent that he has had, and has only made one. This was only made one Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And
let's just be real too. He's been in Green Bay for his whole career, dealing with the Green Bay media. No disrespect to the Green Bay media, but that isn't New York. New York, it's a different animal. We talk about Daniel Jones and the way he's been handling the media with what they've been saying about them for the past years. Rodgers will be destroyed. Look what it did to Durant and Irving. Those guys are Mr. Controversial guys. I couldn't wait to get the hell out of here after what the media and everything was going on. By the way, I found the little meme that I threw in the private chat pretty funny. I don't know if you saw that. No, the one with the 2019 Giants uniforms that had the guy bubble wrapped all over the place. That was actually kind of funny. It's like a dude bubble wrapped all over the place because the Giants get hurt all the time. Ha, 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 ha.
Oh, yeah, I see it.
I found that a little amusing.
They said the Giants have led the league in ACL tears the last 2 seasons.
Yeah,
I read a report on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you have a player like Sterling Shepard who tears his ACL walking, that's when you know it's about walking. We've seen ACL tears, but I've never in my life seen somebody tear their ACL walking. That was a first for me. I've never seen that happen. It's like somebody literally shot a pellet gun or something at his knee, and the way that happened. That was, we got to stop this with the Giants getting hurt. Please stop. No more. I'm tired of losing guys every year. Please.
But you know what, Jeff? You build more depth. That's what you do. You know what I'm saying? So you can absorb some of those injuries. And they started doing that this year, actually. Yes. You know what I'm saying? We was able to soften the blow, so to speak, pause on a lot of these injuries. But let's talk a little spring training, man. I got a couple Yankee nuggets, and I know you probably got something on the Mets, Jeff. I know you always do. Um, and we'll talk about kind of the expectations a little bit. The Yankees are looking to move Judge to right field when they play at Yankee Stadium. And the reason is because they want to put Stanton in left to get Aaron Hicks out of there. So it'll be Judge, Bader, Stanton in Yankee Stadium. Now, some fans think that Aaron Hicks is going to have a bounce back season. I thought Aaron Hicks was old. He's only 33. So, I mean, that's still pretty young baseball wise, but he has not played well at all. And at the plate or in the field. So, I think I wouldn't mind that. I'm still a little skeptical about playing Stanton in left, man. He's only played there 60 games since he's been a Yankee. But they got to do something about this left field situation. You know what I'm saying? They got to do something about this left field situation. You got Cabrera. I mean, he's still a young guy. He played a little bit last year, but you don't really know what he's going to be full time moving forward. So he's a question mark. Hicks obviously is a question mark. The Yankees still got Donaldson. I mean, you're basically asking a lot of these guys, man, to just turn it around. They didn't really add anything in the off season. So, I was not very happy about it, but it is what it is. We got to keep moving. So expectations with the New York Yankees, it's always World Series or bust. Mm-hmm. If you don't get to the World Series, it's a failed season, especially with the talent you got on this roster. Given you just paid Aaron Judge a boatload of money, you still got Stanton on a big contract, and you got Garrett Cole also on a big contract. They signed Rodon and brought back what's my man's name? Rizzo. So, I mean, you spent some money, but it was more or less on the guys you already had, retaining them, and then you went out and you got a pitcher that you needed. Thankfully, we did because Montes is down. He wasn't very good anyway, in my opinion. So, I don't know, man. I don't know about this Yankees team. They don't look much different than they did last year. So, to me, expectation, World Series. Reality, yeah, it's probably going to be more of the same. They're probably going to get bumped out by the Astros or somebody like that in the division round or they should at least make the American League Championship game. But yeah, unless you make some upgrades during the trade deadline or unless these guys just come out firing and looking like a complete different team than last year. I know the Yankees did deal with some injuries last season. So, but still, all in all, I just don't feel it right now. I just don't feel it as far as them really turning it around and getting back into the World Series conversation. Yeah, man, that's my Yankee news for right now. We're gonna be monitoring spring training, of course, to see what's going on and see what some of the guys are doing. I'm gonna be keeping my eye out on that as we get moving forward here, man, with the baseball season. But Jeff, what's your thoughts on the Mets and what are they looking like moving into spring training, and what's your expectation as we start the baseball season off?
Well, I'll first say this about the Yankees. I mean, I hate to say it, you guys are pretty much the same. All you guys really did was sign a pitcher. I mean, you still got the same team. You're probably looking for Donaldson and Hicks to do anything, Stanton to be able to duplicate what he did. You expecting Judge to hit 60-plus home runs again? Gleyber Torres, can he finally have a good bounce back year?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are pretty much the same. But
he's been so disappointing. I really thought he was
I
going to be
Gleyber
like
too.
the next, Derek Jeter type guy, and he just has not been it at all.
I agree. I mean, I thought that he would be one of those next big time, and he looked like it in the first couple of years he was with the Yankees, and then he just fell off. He did a Gary Sanchez pretty much. But in terms of the Mets, well, I got some off the field news that happened with the team. Sandy Alderson is no longer the team president anymore. He stepped down, and he's now officially under an advisor role. And Steve Cohen is now going to be more involved with the day-to-day operations with the team now. And Steve Cohen, he's saying all the right things in the media right now. He really is. He's not going to, get in the way of what Billy Epler wants to do in terms of trying to put together this team. And also Steve Cohen also talked about he wants more of a reasonable payroll going into, the future, which pretty much means he wants his farm system to be more built up going over, the next few years. Get his farm system where they can bring up kids.
Why is he getting involved with the operation? Why is he – I don't know if I like that.
Well, I mean, it's not a bad thing right now unless he, purposely goes out there and, forces the team to sign a player that really, doesn't fit what maybe the general manager is looking for.
That's what they do, though, right? That's what owners do. You know what I'm saying?
They own the team. They can do whatever the hell they want. So,
right. I get it, but that's what they do. They make these,
Well, the difference with him is he's a fan. Remember, this guy is dangerous. A Mets fan.
You know what I'm saying? To have a Mets fan, you know what I'm saying, involved in the operation. I don't.
Would you rather him not spend, though? That's the thing. Would you rather him not spend that money like some of the owners don't do in baseball and just pocket it in their pockets?
Spend it wisely, though.
Remember,
look at us over here.
But look at the deals they made this offseason.
They did.
They signed Verlander to a short-term deal, 2-year deal. Not really threw a whole lot of money at him to bring him in for a couple of years. Scherzer is playing on a 2-year deal right now. He could opt out after this season, but it sounds like he's going to stay. You signed Quintana to a reasonable deal. The only real radical out-of-control deal was Nimmo.
Or was that the GM? I mean,
that was a combination of both of them.
Oh, okay.
Because Cohen's going to have his input on these players too. He's going to tell the general manager. Okay. He's going to get the input. The general manager is going to get the input from what Steve Cohen thinks about these players. And I mean,
y'all running things a little different over there, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm honestly not going to complain. Remember, this is the team that used to penny pinch and would go after the bargain basement people when we were a team in New York. So I'm not going to complain about him spending to keeping guys. So, but in reality, right now at the Mets, there's a lot of optimism right now with this team. A lot of high hopes, a lot of cheery feelings about this baseball team coming into this year. I mean, you got Lindor, who's coming off a strong season. What he's going to be looking like. He actually played with an appendix issue last year, which I didn't even know about, but he talked about in a press conference a couple of days ago that he was dealing with appendix issue, and he still went out there and hit 20-plus home runs and had over 100 RBIs on the season. So, I mean, you have that. Obviously, Jeff McNeil signed a 4-year extension this past offseason, which I'm so happy they did. He's one of the heart and soul players at this baseball team, as well as Brandon Nimmo. I hope they were able to. Hope they could sign Pete Alonso to an extension very soon as well. I mean, you got to get the polar bear locked up.
They got him on a 1 year. What they got him on right now? Alonso.
The highest. They had a highest ever arbitration deal for
arbitration. That's right.
$14.5 million on an arbitration deal for Pete Alonso this past year. So he's going to try to He's going to try to really replicate what he did last year when he had the most RBIs last year with 134. So it's really, man. I agree. But a lot of it is going to come down, to my opinion, the starting pitching. I mean, we're a very, very, very old starting pitching staff. I mean, Verlander is 40. Scherzer is 38 coming off injuries. Quintana is 34. Carrasco's 35. And Kodai Senga, who has never pitched in the major leagues, he's also 30 years old, and a lot of people worry that he might have a lot of wear and tear from pitching a lot of years in the Japanese league. So I mean, you have those guys, and we don't have a lot of starting pitching talent right now that's brimming in the minor leagues. I mean, Tyler McGill and David Peterson are the two guys when it comes to like minor league guys that we're going to look for, as well as this kid Alicia Hernandez that they traded for with the Florida Marlins. I'm sorry, the Miami Marlins this past off season. And as well as Joey Lucchesi, who's coming off a UCL tear last year. So these are the guys that are stretching out younger players if they have to deal with injuries. And when you have guys that are in their mid to late 30s, you're going to have injuries most likely during the season, especially with starting pitchers. So that's the one thing that concerns me the most. And in reality, you guys talk about your lineup looking pretty much the same. Guess what? So does mine. Our lineup is exactly the same because all we did is we brought back Brandon Nimmo. We could have brought in Correa, but we all went about that.
Y'all went and got pitchers, though.
We did, but they're older pitchers, though. Well, we pretty much traded.
They're good, though. Shit. We know Verlander's good. And Scherzer.
But, I mean, how much better would you say Verlander is than DeGrom? If they're healthy, would you take DeGrom or
arguably
Verlander?
He's worse? I'd probably take DeGrom. I mean, he's the better pitcher. Verlander is the more accomplished pitcher, in my opinion.
Yes.
I think DeGrom just hasn't had those opportunities to pitch in those big time moments.
He's also been hurt every single second too.
That's true.
He's hurt right now with Texas. He didn't even start, and apparently he's got an injury already with Texas. So
yeah.
And I mean, we pretty much this is what we did, MYG and Coach in the chat. We traded Taijuan Walker, Chris Bassett, and Jacob deGrom, and for Jose Quintana, Justin Verlander, and Kodai Senga. I mean, you could say we got better, but let's just be real. Quintana is a good left-handed pitcher, but he's had injury issues too. I love Verlander because he's already won 2 World Series. He did it last year, but remember, the year before, he didn't even pitch because he was hurt, and he's 40 years old. And also, Kodai Senga has never pitched in the major leagues. We don't know what this kid is going to do yet. He has electric stuff, but I got to see it in the major leagues before I really give my true judgment on what this kid could be. And the lineup, you're really pressing that Lindor, Alonso, McNeil, Nimmo, who all pretty much were healthy last year, are all going to be able to stay healthy again this year. Escobar is going to be able to continue his bounce back because he was horrible in the first half of the season, and he's going to have to bounce back and play as well as he did in the second half. Vogelback, who slimmed down a little bit this offseason, which is good, and Darren Ruff are going to be our primary DH guys. You're bringing back Tomas Nido. You signed Omar Narvaez as your catchers this year, and you're counting on kids like Brett Beatty and Mark Vientos and Francisco Alvarez, maybe Ronnie Mauricio, these young kids to be able to eventually come up through the minor league system and really contribute for this team. So you're putting a lot of faith that these guys that you have last year, that they could stay healthy and they could be able to put up the numbers they did last year into this season. So, I mean, it's really like what you guys have in your lineup. It's the same thing with us. We're putting a lot of faith in our young kids because you guys are probably doing the same with like guys like Cabrera, with Volpe if he eventually comes up. Like, you have your young guys as well. We're doing the same thing with our young kids and hoping that, these guys in the lineup can stay healthy and put up the numbers they did last year into this season. So I feel optimistic. I think the Mets have a good shot to, repeat and be a potential team to win the NL East and maybe go as far. I think they'll go as far as the starting pitching staff takes them. If Verlander and Scherzer can stay healthy, if Senga is as good as we believe, if Quintana can stay healthy and be good, Carrasco, and this lineup could be consistent, starting with Marte, with Nimmo, with Alonso, with Lindor, and with McNeil. I think the Mets could be close to, if not a 100-win team. But it all depends on those 5 guys being as good as they were last year into this year, getting any production from the bottom of the lineup, and, of course, the starting pitching staff has got to not only be healthy throughout the season, but has to be effective.
Good shit, man. And I agree, man, with the Mets. I've always felt like the Mets really, as a team, for the past, however many years, they've always been more reliant on their pitching. They've never been a out slug you type of team. They want to out pitch you. So you just need those guys in the lineup to kind of step it up a little bit, but I feel like your pitching it usually does the job. You know what I'm saying? So I will say that about the Mets. The Yankees, we flip it. You know what I'm saying? Well, lately their hitting has been the problem. Oddly enough, man. But usually they get pretty good, solid hitting, but it's the pitching. Interested to see how Rodon does. I hope he does better than Montas and some of these other guys they bought in, but we need somebody in that lineup to step up. You bring it back, Cortez. You got Severino. We'll see if he can stay healthy, and then you got Herman on the back end. I mean, I don't really like that lineup too well. So, you're relying on these hitters to snap out of their cold streaks to get back on track, man. And that's just you just can't win like that in baseball, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm a little bit old school, but to me, like I said, you need that timely hitting, contact hitting in the playoffs with good, solid pitching, and the Yankees just have not got that done. So we'll see, man. We'll see with the Yankees and Mets, man. But spring training is heating up. Was just getting started. I think they play games this weekend. So we'll see what these teams look like, but we'll definitely be keeping our eyes on that moving forward. I do want to close it out with a coach's corner. If you got anything, because I know the NCAA tournament is heating up. Matter of fact, let's pull up the top. We haven't done this yet. Top 25 NCAA basketball. Let's see what we got here. Okay. So we got Houston.
Houston was just put into number one now since Purdue lost.
But go ahead.
No, I mean,
spit your stuff, Coach. I'm just gonna pull up the top 25 so we can kind of look at it while you going in.
Syracuse. Syracuse lost on Saturday to Duke 75-55. Tomorrow they have Clemson. Saturday they're at Pitt. So they're coming down the wire. They got 4 games left. At Clemson, at Pitt, hosting Georgia Tech, hosting Wake Forest. In terms of standing, they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th in the ACC. They're tied with Wake Forest. So, they definitely got to fight, but they're still right there. I don't know as far as seeding. Overall, they're 16-11. I wouldn't say that's overly good but they definitely, have to make some noise. They have to, definitely win out and then make some noise in the ACC tournament to probably make it into the NCAAs. Because the ACC always has a lot of teams that makes it.
Damn, Carolina, shit.
Yeah, Carolina
suck ass this year.
They're tied with Syracuse at 16-11.
Goodness gracious.
So, and now if we go to St. John's, St. John's.
What's that Big
overall?
East?
Yeah, that's.
Here we go. I got it for you. 16-12.
It's 16-12, 6-11, and they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're 8th. Their record-wise, they're tied with Seton Hall, 16-12, but in conference, they're literally 3 games behind them.
They don't look like they're gonna make it. They probably look.
I'm hearing rumblings they might fire their coach after the season about St. John's.
They look like an NIT team, maybe.
So even Villanova's not doing well, there. So,
Big East is down this year.
Yeah, basically.
Breaking Rutgers.
Going into Rutgers, first things first, my condolences to the family of former Scarlet Knight Ryan Keeler, who had transferred to UNLV. They found that he passed away earlier, I think last night or today. Don't know why, but he was only 20 years old, young guy, defensive lineman. A lot of the guys on Twitter are hurt by this from Rutgers. Even Coach Giano, kid was from Illinois, Nazareth in Illinois. So when he signed, it was a good pickup. So because it was getting roots there, but it's sad to hear a young life lost like like that. So
Yeah,
don't know anything
condolences,
else.
definitely.
I mean, football wise, they're going out and they're extending offers, but nothing major right now. Other than, like I said, the head coach, the offense coordinator a couple weeks ago, and Pat Flaherty, former New York Giants offensive line
I
coach.
remember Pat. Yeah.
He's the offensive line coach with Rutgers now. So they're hoping that swings into play. Now, Rutgers did rebound after a tough 3-game loss. They did beat Wisconsin on Saturday 58-57. But the big thing is they lost Mawat Mag a couple of games ago. But now Caleb McConnell did not play on Saturday. He had back issues and he may not play tomorrow. So that's your top 2 defensive players. And Caleb is in the running for the National Defensive Player of the Year. So it's going to be tough going down the stretch because they're hosting Michigan, who they're pretty much tied with in the Big Ten. They're at Penn State, they're at Minnesota, and then they're hosting number 21 Northwestern. In terms of Big Ten. It should be Big Ten, yeah. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're tied with Illinois, Maryland, Iowa, Michigan State, and Michigan for 9 and 7. So overall, they're 17 and 10. They're right now, to me, they're in jeopardy of making the NCAAs. They're trending towards being on the bubble after being a hot start. But if they close out and they win out those games, they can get I think they can get a double
large.
double. No, I'm saying in the Big Ten they can get a double bye.
Yeah. Oh, okay. In the tournament. Okay, Big Ten tournament.
and then if they close out well, they're definitely going to be in the in the NCAAs. But right now they're starting to trend like they're going to be a bubble team. I mean, at 17 and 10, and you have you have 4 games left, 5 games left. One.
It was 4.
4. Yeah. So
here they are.
Michigan and hosting Michigan at Penn State, at Minnesota, and then Northwestern, which is
Northwestern.
Yeah, they're number 21 in the AP. So the big thing is going to be Clifford Murray. He can't foul out because right now we don't know what's up with Caleb, and Mawat Mag was a bigger loss than you realize. So he was that stabilizer on the defensive end because, but to their credit, they held Wisconsin, who's not good offensively, but you still held them to 57 points. And I believe it was they held them to in the low 30s in field goal percentage. So, that's still something that you take. And right now, Michigan is going to be tough on Thursday because Dickinson down low. It's going to be a battle with Cliff, and he cannot.
And Michigan is down too this year. A lot of the powerhouses are down.
Yes, but they're right there with Rutgers, so that's the whole point. So they may be down.
That's good for Rutgers, man. Yeah, that's really good for Rutgers.
Sorry, Mitch.
So
because he's a Michigan fan, so.
You like Michigan?
Yeah,
he like all the sucky teams, don't he?
Well, I mean, the football team was in the national championship semifinals, so it's not that bad.
I mean, Michigan, man. I don't know how I feel about Michigan.
The one thing about the Big Ten, though, is these teams are beating up on each other, and when you come down to the stretch, that's where it really starts to show through.
Look at the conference records. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams with the same conference record.
And Penn State is not that far behind.
Yeah, and then Indiana is only 1 up.
Exactly.
And State and Wisconsin's only 2 down. So yeah.
So Rutgers split with Indiana. So if Indiana loses another, there's that opportunity to jump back up. Rutgers just controls what they need to do. I think they'll be in the double bye, and that includes Northwestern because they played Northwestern at the end. So.
Ohio State's that bad?
Yes, this year, and that's what hurt. That's what hurts Rutgers the most because that Ohio State game where the kid came from out of bounds. Because otherwise, Rutgers would have swept them. So they have some bad losses, man. Now, but that's because of Mawat Matt. I mean, they split with Michigan State, which is fine. They got swept by Iowa. They split with Indiana. So I think they lost to Nebraska by 10. So I mean, that's the thing. You can't do those things, to be a good quality team. So because they were number 2 in the Big Ten for the longest while, and you take those losses away, they're right there with Purdue. They're right there with Purdue in terms of being the top team.
Yeah.
And they beat Purdue, didn't they?
Yes, they beat Purdue in Lafayette. I mean, you even go to the start of the season where you lost to Florida State, Miami, and Temple. I mean, they have some badly that when they look at them for Selection Sunday, you're going to question. They have some good wins, but you have some losses. You cannot lose to Nebraska, man. You can't. And it always seems
they ain't got no business losing to them.
You can't lose to Ohio State.
Ohio State was understandable because it was early in the season and it was a home and it was a controversial. You came back and redeemed yourself. Nebraska, you lost at home by 10 points. You lost by 10 points to Nebraska at home. Illinois, you can understand because they were in Illinois. They're still a good squad. Indiana, you split, so you can understand that. That's why this Michigan game
What about Northwestern?
Big. Northwestern, they beat initially in Indiana, in Illinois, and they close out with Northwestern at home to close out the season. So that's why this game against.
Yeah, I don't see why they can't win 3 out of the 4.
No.
They should be able to beat Michigan, Penn State, and definitely Minnesota.
I mean, right now they're 3-1 against the top team.
Yeah, you can. That's what I'm saying. 3 out of 4. So maybe you drop one of them games and then you beat Northwestern. However you want to slice it.
Yes. You get 3 wins. That'll get them to 20 wins, and then I think that puts them in there. No, they also have to win a game or 2 in the Big Ten tournament.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They'll at least win the first round. Yeah, they should at least win the first round.
If I say this, if they win all 4, they're going double bye. So that puts them, to me, in pretty much, that will put them 21-11, and that can 21-10, and that can put them and win one game in the Big Ten tournament, and I think that'll put them into the NCAAs. If they go to the championship, that's even better. So, now it's there. I mean, they just have to do it. But again, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because you like I said. Caleb, at least he can come back, if his back holds up. But losing Mawat Mag was a bigger blow than everyone realized because of everything that he does on the defensive end and what he does give you. I think he's averaging like about 8-9 points a game. So, which I wasn't expecting that, for this season. So, that's pretty much it. It's there
He's
for
out
them.
For the season, right?
Yep, he ACL.
Oh man,
gosh,
hate hearing about that stuff.
Something I want to show you too before we close out. This is something Giants related. Hold a minute. Let me pull it up.
Will you put in the private chat?
No, I'm going to share my screen.
Nah, go ahead, do your thing.
But what you put in the private chat is what you're talking about.
No. This is something different. Okay. It's going to surprise you. Let me know when you got my screen.
You good? You got it.
This is from Bleacher Report. Let me.
Hold on. Let me move the van out of the way.
Pittsburgh Steelers acquired Leonard Williams.
No, this is Bleacher Report. They're saying NFL trade packages to create the next great defense, and we could scroll through real quick. Cardinals getting Byron Jones.
He's washed.
And they're talking about what you would get for him. Cameron Jordan to the Cincinnati Bengals.
No, that'd be scary if that ever happened.
That would be scary.
Oh boy.
Jalen Ramsey to the Patriots, and they would get a second, a fourth, and a third, 24, a third. And
is Ramsey a free agent?
No, he's under contract.
No, he's still signed.
Oh, okay.
And then this one was saying the Steelers acquiring Leonard Williams, giving us a second and a fourth round this year for Leonard Williams. Okay. And my question is, would you do that? Because if you look at his contract,
absolutely.
If you do it pre-June 1st, you have a dead cap of 20 and you're saving 12 million. But if you trade him after, you save basically $18 million, and you get a dead cap of 14 for this year and 5. So it's still saving you some money. So I mean, saving you $18 million on this year. But I found this article intriguing because going into it, let me see, Tuitt retired. You still have Cam Hayward over there, T.J. Watt. If you put Leonard Williams over there,
yeah.
I mean, when I saw that, I was just like, what?
Leonard Williams and Cam Hayward, jeez.
Exactly. Yeah. And then, it opens up so much money for us and gives us a second. Because I'm going to say this. If you did this, I'm going to be banging the table for Siaka Ika from Baylor. I mean, the kid is, he's 6'5" and he's 360 pounds. And he can move. So, if you got a chance, look at it. I'm not calling for trading Dexter trading Leonard, please. It was just an article I saw on Bleacher Report, and I found it interesting. And
a lot of people feel like we should get rid of Leonard Williams because of the contract. But you definitely can't cut him because I mean, so the only option would be to trade him, and if you're gonna get a second, and what was it, a fourth?
Second and a fourth.
Yeah.
If it's a second, I'd have to do it.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you could throw DJ Davidson out there if he's healthy and let him try.
Now you got 2 seconds and 2 thirds to take and a first and 2 fourths.
And that's my whole thing. That's why when I saw that, I said it's interesting, it's intriguing, but nobody's talking about it. So I'm just like, maybe it's just, a clickbait article. But you know what? It got me to thinking. I ain't gonna lie to you. I love Leonard Williams.
There's a possibility they do want to move on from him because, first of all, I don't know if he's healthy. And then second of all, the cap. And then third of all, let's keep it a buck, man. The Giants know how to find defensive tackles.
Yes,
they are like D-tackle you.
And you know what I'm saying? There are tackles in this draft that you can get. So that's why when I saw that, I was just like, oh. I mean, at first I was like, trading Leonard Williams. What the hell are you? And then I saw, wait a minute, you're getting a second and a fourth, and I stopped. I was just like, whoa. And Leonard Williams is, he's up there. He's pushing.
And you can give Dex that bag that he deserves. You can give Dex that long-term contract.
You can adjust that, and that's why it was just like, when I saw that, I was just
take that money and go give it to Tremaine Edmonds.
Yes,
that's what I do.
There you go.
Boosting your run defense.
But
the Daniel Jones argument ends. Give him the money. You have the money to play with. And you can give Saquon the money too.
Yeah, there you go too. So it's just like I said,
Julian Love as well.
And that's why it's just like, wow, it's interesting, and I'm waiting to see what Joe Shane does, and if he gets a call to trade, for Dexter Lawrence, I mean for Leonard Williams.
No, not Dex.
Yeah, no, not Dexter.
Yeah, but, get me nervous, Coach.
I do feel like he's gonna make a move this year.
Yes, I do too.
I feel like this is the year he's gonna use that trade.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I felt like he's kind of had that in his bag. You know what I'm saying? As far as willing and dealing is concerned, I think this is the year he pulls the trigger, and it could be a big name. It could be Barkley. It could be Leonard Williams. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? They could easily tag and trade Barkley if they don't want to pay him a contract.
They could tag and trade Jones for all we know.
They could, but they're not going to do that.
I know, but it is on the table if it gets to that point.
Yeah, I agree. You know what I'm saying? I will agree with you, though. The Barkley situation is definitely more dicey than I originally thought it was going to get to. So he could very well be. And to be honest with you, look, I love Saquon, man. You know what I'm saying? I got two of his jerseys, man. He's my favorite player on the team, but I can't give that dude no $16 million, man.
Yeah,
And
just look at Zeke. Just look at Zeke. Also, you gotta look at it is look at Zeke.
12.5 is pushing it. 13 is pushing it. But 16 million?
No.
And yeah, and people say, "Oh, you pay the guy because he's productive, and you let Jones walk." Are you crazy? You don't let a quarterback walk over a running back that you can easily replace. I'm not saying you can easily replace Saquon because he is more than a running back, just from the cultural standpoint and what he can give you in the passing game. But he's definitely not a perfect player, and you can. I mean, you can figure out ways to try to get some of that production back that you're losing from Saquon. I don't think it'll be that hard as opposed to going from Daniel Jones to Tyrod Taylor. That's a bigger drop off than going from Saquon Barkley to Josh Jacobs or Kareem Hunt or somebody like of that magnitude or whatever. So
fix up that interior offensive line, and you could get any running back that could be able to perform. Remember, we were the number 4. We were the number 4 rushing team last year in the NFL. A lot of it had to do with our good run blocking as well as our running backs being able to perform, and DJ. It was a mix.
So yeah, you could easily take that money. You got Gary Brightwell on here, who I like him as a running back.
Breida too.
You know what I'm saying? But Breida's a free agent. He might go to another team. They could bring him back, but they might not want to bring him back, or they might just wait to see, if he gets a bigger contract, or maybe if he's still kind of floating out there, come training camp, they bring him in. But definitely, man, there's some running backs in the draft that you could probably get in the draft somewhere down. There's free agents. Yeah. I mean, you can figure it out. You know what I mean? But you trying to figure that quarterback situation out. Whatever you think of Daniel Jones, I mean, you cannot say he's not competent. And he you know what I'm saying? He can at least he's a playoff quarterback. He can get you to the playoffs. We've seen it with not so great of a supporting cast, just to be light about it. You know what I'm saying? So to the end of it, I think what it is people got something personal against this dude, and I don't know why. Because to me, it's always been about the Giants and what's best for the team. Yeah. And the only reason I was off the Daniel Jones train, after last season is because of the team, because the team was so bad. You know what I'm saying? And I don't see how fans can see this team as an ascending team and want to move off the quarterback. That's what I don't understand, man.
And at the same time, I mean, fans are getting too emotional about all this stuff. They really are. I think that it's a lot to do. I don't know if it's the younger generation where they see guys like
these
Saquon
guys are
Barkley.
Older, actually, Jeffy.
Well, that's kind of funny. That's kind of funny, hearing that, because if they're older, they should understand, because they dealt with it with both Phil Simms and Eli Manning, who went through the similar type of thing.
The one who's leading the charge is like a senior citizen or something.
Well, that's pretty bad. But I mean, the thing too is Giants fans are being way too emotional right now, about players and everything. I mean, I said it at the beginning of I even said it before the beginning of the season. I mean, you got to trust Joe Shane and what he's going to do this offseason, and I will support this guy no matter what he does. If Jones is not here, if Barkley's not here, if Slayton's not here, if Shepard's not here, if Love's not here, McKinney, whoever it is, Leonard Williams, if they're here or not, whatever key Giants player that's been a part of the team for a long time, you gotta let the general manager do his thing. You gotta take the emotion out of this type of thing. I love Barkley, I love Jones, I love Shepard, I love Love, no pun intended. Pause. I like these guys as players, I do. But at the same time, we're Giants fans. I mean, that's what people are losing their minds about. You're a fan of the New York Giants. The guys are going to be here for a certain amount of time, and then eventually they're going to go, and new players will come in. You got to let the general manager and the head coach do their thing. You got to let these guys go out there and be able to build a team. And if the plans don't have Leonard Williams in the mix, they don't have Saquon Barkley in the mix, if they don't have certain players in the mix, you know what? Then stick with what. Then you have to just, trust in Joe Schoen. That's the key motto. And I have trust in Joe Schoen that he's going to do the right thing for this organization. So whatever his plan is, and we're going to start getting a lot of news in the next week or two.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Be on the lookout, Giants fans. Be on the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start hearing Giants news within the next week or two about what this team's direction is going to be. Whether it's going to be trades, whether it's going to be cuts, restricted free agents, exclusive rights free agents, extensions, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Julian Love, Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, whoever it is, Leonard Williams. You're going to start hearing a lot of this news within the next 2 to 3 weeks around free agency. So, you're going to get your answers very soon. But right now, all I'm going to say, and this is my message, I normally hate doing these kinds of things. I'm not to tell the message to everybody in the Giants community, but just for please sake, just be patient. Let Joe Schoen do what he needs to do to help out this team get better. And remember, we're still a team that's building up for sustained success. That's all I'm going to say.
Facts.
We're a team building sustained success. And if he would thinks that the team is better shedding a player or two that you might like because it's going to help out the team long term, let him do whatever he needs to do to help out the team going forward. So remember, you're not a fan. You could be a fan of Saquon Barkley, of Daniel Jones, of Leonard Williams, of whoever it is. But you're also, most importantly, a New York Giants fan. And players come and go. Players we loved were here and gone. You just got to remember, you root for the NY or the Giants on the jerseys and the symbols. Same thing with the Nets or the Jets or the Knicks or the Mets.
They don't root
or the
for the
Yankees.
NY. They root for the
like,
NY. The NY. My quarterback. My.
No, they root for the player more than the team. They
right.
root for the
my player. The my guy. Exactly.
That's the problem with sports now. That's the problem with sports nowadays. Is more people root for the player.
Randy, man? Appreciate
Randy,
you stopping in.
Thank you, bro, for coming by. By the way, we talked about your Raptors earlier, Randy. But it's the problem with that's the biggest problem with sports today that really gets me aggravated is most people root for the players more than they do root for their own teams. Like I've seen fans change teams because their player went to a different team. I'm like, are you serious? People that are rooting for the Lakers or the people that are rooting for the Heat all of a sudden become Cavs fans because LeBron James went there. I've seen people that are Kevin Durant fans that become Nets fans, that become Suns fans, or whoever it is. Saquon Barkley fans are probably going to, if he's not on the Giants this year, they'll go become whatever fan he is of that team. It's what the problem is with sports. You stick with your team, man. I could never see myself not rooting for the Brooklyn Nets, for the New York Giants, for the New York Mets, for if I'm a Devils fan, Rutgers. I don't get this fascination with how fans nowadays root for the players now. It's fantasy probably too.
It's also, if you go to youth football and all the way up, AAU sports, even in football, that's how these kids are raised, man. That's how this is. Now look, I love LeBron. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't. I love Melo. When they were coming out of high school, going into college, for Melo and Bron coming right into the NBA. I have their jerseys. But guess what? When they play the Knicks, if they're not on the Knicks and they're playing the Knicks, I'm rooting for you to lose. Get your numbers. Exactly. All right, cool. Go ahead, get your numbers, but lose to my squad. That's just the bottom line. After the game, I'll continue to root for you because I am a Knicks fan, period. Case closed. Yes, do I want guys on the team that can help me win? Of course. But in the end, I rock with the New York Knicks. It's just that simple. And back in the day, I was a big, big, big Magic Johnson fan. I was a big Lakers fan. I could tell you everything about the Lakers back in the day, from Norm Nixon to Jamal Wilkes to Kurt Rambis, all of them. I knew Michael Thomas, all the guys who are, coming off the bench or glue guys. I could talk to you about them, but then I saw the Knicks and I fell in love with the Knicks. And then BK was here, and that's who I ultimately sealed the deal for me, and it was done ever since. And BK is probably my favorite. Him and Oakley, but they're probably my favorite Knicks. And it hurt. It hurt when BK went to Washington, but I didn't change shifts. I stayed with my squad. I rooted for him to recover, play well when he went up against us. Okay, get your numbers, but lose. And it's
Yeah.
not like that nowadays. Nowadays, it's like you said, Jeff. Everybody roots for the player, and I get it. I get the players.
I
I get the
can't
players
stand
having
that.
control. But you know what? And in the same token, when we yell about players having control, just like you were talking about Durant and Kyrie back in the day. But then again, you look at the All-Star game. What do you see? The players picking teams, and the fans love that. So it's like, you can't have it both ways. Either it's, the teams in the league runs the business or the players. You don't see that in the NFL, honestly, but you see that in the NBA, which is, like you said, it is a problem. And these kids see that. And that's how they're raised. And they know the players have the power in a sense. And that's where you have to get away from that and get back to this is a business, first and foremost. Players, it's a business. Go get your money. But teams, it's a
Mitch, you
business.
SOB. I'm sorry. I just saw the reply that Mitch put on my Twitter thing where he put Ben Simmons gif on my thing. I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I just
Yeah, I
saw that.
seen that. His
You
trolling
mother,
ass, man.
you mother effer.
I've also put something in the private chat for you guys too. So
Oh, I
But
saw
yeah,
that. I laughed at that
yeah.
one, Coach. I laughed at that one.
yeah,
We going
I was just like, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever, And
we
Nikki is a
going
Giants fan, so they
yeah,
bother me. Go ahead,
we
go
gonna
ahead.
She's a
close it out.
giant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she is a Giants fan.
she's a Giants content creator
But
too.
anybody that puts Dak Prescott on their list of anything involving best quarterbacks is just automatically
Well, it says
disqualified for
who's the
me.
next to win a Super Bowl.
That's even worse.
Exactly.
I was
So
trying to cut her some slack.
Does she like Daniel Jones? Is she a Daniel Jones fan? Because I've never watched any of her content, so I don't know how she feels
I
about that
think
whole thing.
she's part of the revival crew. I
yeah,
think.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it's the same New York Rush. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
The Rush crew.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Put up a nice post not that long ago about how the women don't know anything about New York sports thing, and has one of the people putting up a middle finger, which I actually find that very amusing.
Oh, she put up an ACL report too.
Yeah, I'm seeing that right now.
The Giants are, even though they're up there, they're not top.
San Francisco's first. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
but if you look at 2021 and 2022,
it picked up.
The Giants are first in both of those 2 years. Look at the column. 21
no, I know
it's
11. It's 11 over those 2 years. So I get it, but now I want to look.
Philly's up there too.
Why are the Jets not up there? See, that's what gets me. I mean, I get. Everybody says MetLife Stadium, and it's like, then why are the Jets not up there? Because they're on MetLife Stadium too.
Three of the top 10 teams are in the NFC East. Washington and Philly are also up there. They have more than we do. So it's like we have all three of us have injury issues. Dallas is more towards the bottom.
10 years, the past 10 years. But now, to NYG's point, the past 2 years is us, and those two are not. They're 4 and 3 over that span, while we're at 11. So over the last 2 years,
6.
Let me see. Beavers, Robinson, Shepard, Davidson, McKeithen, and who's the sixth? Who's the sixth one? Beavers, Robinson, Shepard, McKeithen, Davidson, and who the hell? Who's the sixth one that tore his ACL?
Wandale Robinson. What happened to Aaron Robinson? Was it him? No, it wasn't him.
I don't know if he had an ACL. He had a knee injury, but they didn't say it was an ACL.
Off the top of my head, I'm trying to.
Yeah, I can't think either.
Robinson, no. McKeithen, no.
McKeithen, yeah, he had an ACL.
No, I'm sorry, not McKeithen. Not Zudu. He didn't have that. God, it's just gonna bother me now. I'm gonna have to go and like.
What about
check out
the other? What was the other? Trying to think that other defensive guy.
Not Nick Williams.
I mean, Williams. Okay, yeah.
Ryder,
Nick Williams. Yeah, I know it was somebody on the defense. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a bicep injury.
Oh, it wasn't him. Oh, okay.
No.
Let me see.
Darian
Beavers, DJ. Colin Johnson was a Achilles.
ACL, yeah. Achilles. Sorry, Achilles.
Ellison Smith.
No, Ellison was coming back from injury.
Ellison Smith.
It's got to be Aaron Robinson then, because Beavers was ACL.
Aaron Robinson, yeah.
Beavers was an ACL. DJ Davison was an ACL. Azudu was the neck. Johnson was the Achilles. Lemieux, I mean, the dude was just never healthy. He was the toe. McKeithen was the knee. ACL. Yeah. Wandell was ACL. Shep was ACL. Ellison Smith was, I think, a foot injury. And Nick Williams was a bicep. Yeah, it's got to be Aaron Robinson. That was the other ACL.
Yep.
And people think we could count on him going into next year? No, not off an ACL tear and a cornerback. It's going to take some time for him to come back healthy. So that's pretty bad.
We gotta get a corner. We definitely need a corner.
We do. We need another cornerback, unless Flott's going to take a big jump in his second year.
Yeah, I can't count on it though.
No.
But let's get on out of here, man. We can continue this in the back chat. Just want to shout out everybody that stopped by tonight, man, to support the show. Next shift, appreciate you, man. Better late than never, bro. Appreciate you stopping by, man, showing support. Levance, of course, as always, my man, big fan Breezy. Tudo, always doing his thing, showing support for us, man. Wells, always showing support for us, man. Big Blue Crew in the house. You already know what it is. Bookend Tackles. You already know, man. Who else we got? Sonny, stop by. Angelo Blue coming through. Appreciate you. Appreciate you, Koof, man. Appreciate you coming by, man. And of course, man, my two co-hosts, man, Coach Ed and Jeffrey T85, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to everybody on the platform today, as including myself as well. But we'll be back again, man. Same time, same place, man. See you guys next week, man. Appreciate everybody for coming by, man. And peace out.